We're here with a special guest, ladies and gentlemen, friend of the show. He is a leftist social critic, journalist, and commentator, Nick Cruz, who's also a host and co-founder of the Revolutionary Blackout Network. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Hey, what's poppin', Jimmy and Kurt? Always good to do your show, man.
It's always good to see you. And so I saw this on the Twitter, and it's one of our favorite things to talk about is the Democrats and Republicans, are they materially different? And so I saw this. I guess Cornel West went on Sean Hannity's show. I didn't know that. I didn't see it. I saw Cornel West go on Anderson Cooper's show.
How do you do with Brother Hannity?
I heard it freaked out Sean when he called him brother.
You start looking like more like the eagle from the Muppets.
I gotta watch that. But anyway, Kyle Klinsky watched it, and he makes this argument that that we like to knock down. So here it comes.
Why overwhelmingly do minorities and African Americans, Hispanic Americans, why are they still continuing to vote in large numbers in the Democratic Party?
Because they're a trillion times better than Republicans, and we have a two-party system.
What scale? How many Scovilles above them?
I think it's the Barbie movie hair that's getting. I don't know what a trillion times. Nick, do you want to just jump in, and what would you like to say about?
My friend Zankin said the hair dye is getting to his brain.
It's like these people now worse than his old hair.
He's like Ken without the charisma.
Yeah, after the brain campaign, these people just became full-fledged Democrats now. They don't even hide it now, and they endorsing a guy who literally cut millions of people from the healthcare. That's who they are saying is better than the opposition. I remember when they used to be against ICE. Jimmy, do you remember that? When they used to say abolish ICE. Joe Biden is funding ICE $6 billion more than Donald Trump did. They had a border industrial complex, Comic-Con, where they was talking about, like, man, it's crazy how much Joe Biden is actually funding us more than the Republican administration was. They got all these new toys. They got robot dogs. That's because of Joe Biden. But they don't care about that.
The Democrats in unison voted to crush a railroad strike, which is fascism. Yes. The Democrats in unison voted for war, to saber rattle with the nuclear power, to do a proxy war in Ukraine.
Did it a trillion times better than Republicans.
They did it a trillion times better. The only people calling for the end of those wars are right-wing Republicans. At what metrics could you say that? I mean, I think nuclear war is a little worse. But anyway, you want to hear some more? He has some more to say, and then we'll come back to you, Nick.
We don't have ranked choice voting. We still have first past the post voting. So either the Republican or the Democrat is going to win, and minority communities have accurately come to the conclusion, oh, the Democrats are just way better. They're just way better.
Is that what has happened, Nick? Have minority communities come to the realization that Democrats are just way better?
People like me and RBN in our community, they don't count. We don't count because what Kyle forgets is that half of Black people don't vote. And then you take the amount of Black people who do vote, you have around 20% that vote Republican, Independent. So you don't even have half of Black people who vote for Democrat. And you can tell that he's a Democrat operative because he said that we're looking at these policies and we made this calculated decision that Democrats are better. And I'm telling you, for the people who do vote Democrat, they vote out of their civic duty. They're not making this calculation. Oh my God, Joe Biden is factually better than Donald Trump. A lot of people vote just out of civic duty, but a lot of people don't because they know the system has failed them. Most people don't vote because they know Jim Crow Joe and the Democrat Party offer the same thing as the Republican Party does. It's an absurd thing to say.
Wait, but Nick, have you figured this in? Kyle hangs out with a lot of Black people. That's why he has Eminem hair.
Yeah,
they accept him as they once did Eminem.
What's that, Nick?
Yeah, he really got his heart in the pulse of the community here. You know really what's going on. Like, this is completely out of touch from Kyle Klinsky, and I think he just essentially taken his political taste from Crystal Ball. I think ever since they got together, he just followed her direction.
Well, I think Democrats are a trillion times better at saying what you want to hear as long as you don't care about actually having any results from it. They're also a trillion times better at talking down to you like you're a little baby. Like if you're a really good little boy, Santa Claus is going to invade your home and leave you some things of substance from Walmart.
I thought a trillion times zero is still zero.
DSA is a failure because you have the DSA like people like Kyle Kalinske and all these socialists that endorsing Joe Biden, as you mentioned earlier, who broke the rail strike. And what a lot of people don't mention is that Joe Biden broke his campaign promise regarding giving federal contracts to union busters. He gave a federal contract to Amazon as it was busting the unions that Chris Smalls was organizing. But meanwhile, Bernie Sanders and these progressives do a photo op with Chris Smalls as they endorse the guy who undermined his union. It's really disgusting what these people get away with.
It's unbelievable. So, like I like to describe it, is that the Democrats are the party of war. They're anti-worker. They're anti-union. They're the party of war. They're the authoritarians. They're in bed with big pharma, military-industrial complex. They're doing wars now all over the place with it, and they're not any.
They're not part of the police state.
They're the police. Again, they just invented a new police department just out of nowhere, $2 billion to fund it. And they won't give you a minimum wage. They won't give you health care. They won't give you free college. They won't give you education. They won't give you infrastructure. They won't fix homelessness, but they will give $150 billion to the war machine to go to Ukraine, 100% corruption. So somehow, and Sable rattle with me. So I'm going to play a little bit more. Maybe he'll get to how they're way better, and minorities know Democrats are way better. You know that Barack Obama and Joe Biden deported twice as many Hispanics as Donald Trump? Did you know that? Did you know?
Yes.
Did you know that when Donald Trump put the ban on Muslim immigrants, refugees at the airports, it was because Barack Obama had spent 8 years bombing the shit out of people of color around the world? That's what gave us Muslim refugees. Do you not know that? You know that Barack Obama dropped more bombs than George Bush? Did you not know that George Bush the first couldn't pass NAFTA? It took a Democrat to do that, called Bill Clinton, which gave the Blue Dog Democrats cover, and they cut the legs out from underneath unions for a generation, and that a Republican couldn't do that, and that's why Bill Clinton actually wasn't the lesser of two evils. He was the worst evil. Do you think they would have let John McCain kick 1.1 million families out of their home during the Wall Street collapse of our economy? No, it took a black guy named Barack Obama to sweet talk everybody, and you thought he's not going to screw us. He's a black guy. He was the tool of Wall Street. His entire cabinet came from Citicorp. That's trillion times better than Republicans. They're way better. He was way worse for black people. Black people's wealth went down under Barack Obama. Barack Obama didn't clean out the prisons. Joe Biden is the one. He's the architect of our prison system, which is unbelievably racist, and he brags about it. These are things that Democrats do that Republicans can't do. So this idea that the Democrats are a lesser evil or way better, he's just making that up now. It just went trillion. He went from 3 years ago saying, I won't vote for Joe Biden and I'm done with the Democrats, to now this. Wow. This is, I don't know what it's like his politics have the substance of cotton candy, so why not have the same hairstyle? I don't get. So, well, look, maybe he'll get to the point. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, it's absurd because, as you mentioned before, Donald Trump couldn't get away with what Joe Biden just did, throwing millions of people off their health care. So you had the Center for Medicare Services, who actually proposed this new regulation that was based on studies, estimated millions of people off their health care. And when that happened, you had, at the time, Senator Kamala Harris, 26 other Democrats, including Joe Biden. They wrote a letter putting pressure, and this was around the time where Bernie Sanders said that Donald Trump is about to cut Medicare. You want to know what happened? Donald Trump folded. Donald Trump pulled the order, and then they saved millions of people from health care. So now that Joe Biden is president, now no one cares about this. And now the Biden administration put forward this motion. I'll continue this story. I read today. It was incredible. No one is talking about this. Kyle Kalinske lied to his audience. You may get to it soon, when he said Democrats want to protect Medicare. No, Joe Biden is throwing millions of people off of their health insurance. That's something that Donald Trump even couldn't accomplish. The Democrats are the most evil.
If Donald, and your point is, if Donald Trump was doing it, the Democrats would be, half the country and the media would be screaming about it. But because Joe Biden is doing it, they go to sleep. Just like when Barack Obama did all those horrible things, the Democrats and the left and the media went to sleep. And that's why the Democrats are actually not the lesser of two evils. They're actually the ones who can do greater evil. And well, here
Wait,
we'll get
are
to
you going to stop going to a church just because they molested you?
it. Here we go.
Like 98% of the Republican Party wants to cut Social Security, wants to cut Medicare, wants to cut Medicaid, and the Democrats don't. Some of them do.
Okay.
That's a lie.
But they will anyway.
But they'll go along with it. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, that's a lie because it's the Biden administration that is allowing the Center for Medicare Services to put towards this new regulation that will allow federal bureaucrats to interfere with states' distribution of Medicare. And there's studies that said they're going to cut healthcare for millions of people, and that's happening under the Biden administration. That's his government that is doing that. And under the Trump government, they attempted to do that, but then they walked it back after public pressure from Democrats and Bernie Sanders, who's now silent, and Kyle Kalinske, who's now silent on this story. Instead, they're running propaganda for Democrats, pretending that they are the pro-healthcare side. It's actually despicable.
I would say, okay, so let's see what else. Maybe he'll come up with a reason. Who knows? They're a trillion. Remember, they're a trillion times better.
Yeah.
And Nick, you're lying because you're black, and you know that Democrats are way
You're a white
better.
supremacist.
You're probably a white supremacist. Okay, here we go.
But the overwhelming majority of them don't. So maybe that's why. Maybe because they're better on a lot of substantive issues. Now, that's not to say they're good. That's not to say they're perfect. They're far from it.
What?
But if you do an objective empirical analysis as to whose policies help regular working class people of color more, it's not close.
Thanks
not
for the
close, so
mandates.
that's why-
Hey, thanks for those mandates.
Thanks for the lockdowns and mandates.
Yeah.
You helped you a trillion times more.
Hey, I bet the 75,000 healthcare workers in New York State would have a different opinion of how much Democrats stick up for workers. Hey, I bet you and issues. I bet they would have a different idea over at the railroad. I bet the railroad workers would have a way different
Jimmy,
opinion.
do you think it would be a trillion times different?
So he realized that black wealth tanked under Barack Obama, right? That was Barack Obama that led to a boom in racial income inequality. Well, it's just completely an infactual argument that he's making. It's a fact-free argument, I should say, that Kyle is making here. It just vibes. It just Democrats are better. That's just my vibe. And when he said, they're not perfect. What do you mean they're not perfect? They just waged a little bit World War III. We fund a little bit of Nazis. They're not perfect. Yeah, they fund ICE $6 billion more than Trump. Perfect. Nonsense is this.
They funded. Go ahead.
Jimmy, if he made this video just telling us we were really born on Krypton and he's our dad, that would be less dishonest than the video he did make.
The Democratic Party, the reason why we have censorship now is because of the Democratic Party. The reason Bill Clinton took us from 50 giant media companies down to 6, controlled by a handful of billionaires. Bill Clinton gutted welfare at the same time as he exploded the prison population, hired 100,000 more cops, and deregulated Wall Street, which killed our economy, crashed it within 10 years. And who got hurt the most? Black and brown people.
Trillion times.
That's it. These are the things that Bill Clinton, the Democrats, could do that Republicans could never do. And by the way, Bill Clinton had a secret deal to privatize Social Security with the Republicans. And you know what stopped it? Was the blowjob. And you know how I know that? Because I read a book called Listen Liberal that obviously Kyle Kalinske hasn't read. We have special guests with us. Marianne Williamson is here. She's a best-selling author, lecturer, activist, as well as a 2024 Democratic candidate for president of the United States. She previously ran in 2020, and in 1989, she founded Project Angel Food, a nonprofit that delivers meals to ill and dying homebound patients. In 2004, she co-founded the Peace Alliance, a nonprofit grassroots education and advocacy organization focused on increasing U.S. government support of peace-building approaches to domestic and international conflicts. Please welcome back to the show, Marianne Williamson. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Jimmy. It's nice to see you, and thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. Now, last time we talked, you weren't sure about Medicare for All or Julian Assange, and I think you have different stances on both those things. How do you feel about Julian Assange now?
Take those charges down day one.
You would not prosecute him. You'd let him free. Let him go
Absolutely
free.
correct. Yeah, absolutely. On Julian Assange, when we spoke before, which was years ago now,
Right.
I wasn't so sure. I'm certainly sure about that now. And on Medicare for All, you were one of the people that I think started to really change my mind, actually.
Okay, so you're a full backer of Medicare for All,
Oh yeah, absolutely,
and that
completely.
certainly separates you from the rest of the Democratic primary pack, because Joe Biden
Absolutely.
is determined to not let people get health care. He didn't give us the public option he promised, and he's now repealing Medicare for people that had it during the pandemic. So, Marian, how did the Democratic Party become the party of censorship and war?
Well, when it comes to being the party of war, I think both of them. I mean, when it comes to big oil and defense contractors, both the Republicans and the Democrats are in lockstep with their corporate donors on that. So I don't think of it as the party of war any more than the Republicans are, actually. I mean, you can look at individuals, but I just think of the military-industrial complex as having its grip on both parties, actually. So it's really more, how did the U.S. government become so hostage to Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, and Boeing? That is the question in my mind.
I mean, even people who don't take corporate money in the Democratic Party are for the Ukraine war, and they just vote for military budgets. They vote for that's the reason why it stands out, is because the Democratic Party was supposed to be a left party. They were supposed to be anti-war. Everybody always expected the Republican Party to be right-wing and pro-war, and so that's why it's a different thing now. And everybody in the Democratic Party votes for war. They're all war pigs, and there's a big faction of the Republicans who aren't. In fact, we just covered a story with Matt Gaetz, who wants us to get out of Africa. You'll never hear Democrats do that. Why is that?
Well, first of all, I'm not enrolled in your perspective on pro-war. I think that there are a lot of people who are very, very concerned about the power of the U.S. war machine.
Which ones would those be?
Well, for one, me. I mean,
no, I'm talking about Democrats in Congress or who are elected.
I can't speak so much about Democrats in Congress, because I think of Democrats in Congress as so beholden to the corporatist Democratic leadership when push comes to shove. Obviously, I do. I wouldn't be running. Notice I'm running and they're not. So a lot of people who say they're progressives who are in Congress fall in line when it comes to that. But I think that there are many of us who do not look at it that way and still have a different view, perhaps, than you do.
What is your view on the Ukraine war?
Well, I certainly am not naive about how we got there. I certainly understand that the U.S. Poked the bear. I certainly understand about the Aegis missiles in Poland. I don't feel that I'm naive at all about how the U.S. war machine works. However, it's kind of like you look at someone like Dwight Eisenhower. On one hand, he is the man who coined the phrase military-industrial complex, and he was the supreme commander of all Allied forces in World War II. It's not an either-or. You can be aware that the military is profiteering in and causing a real terrible problem, as he realized after all that was over at the end of his presidency, and at the same time feel strongly that certain lines must be drawn, certain boundaries, and certain people must be stopped. So when you look at what happened last weekend in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, 40 nations coming together, that's very important what happened last weekend. With China, India was there, Brazil was there, and I think that many of us feel, I feel that actually the fact that Ukraine got some support that it's gotten from the United States and other Western nations is part of what has opened up the possibilities that exist right now for real negotiation, because it will be other countries. This is not just about what the United States says. Most things when it comes to military around the world, it's not a unipolar world anymore. It's multipolar. A lot of nations are involved in this. And so I think we should all be glad about what seems to have begun to happen in Saudi Arabia last weekend.
So I'm trying to figure. So you're saying you support Joe Biden's policy in Ukraine?
What I don't support about Joe Biden's policy is when he says for as long as it takes. He and Lloyd Austin just talk about how we're just giving money for as long as it takes. We need to be in support of a negotiated settlement.
So So there already was a
Of course,
peace.
theoretically, you would say, I mean, Jake Sherman was there. So to some extent, of course,
So you're
guess
so you're
I know.
so you're aware that in 2014 that the CIA couped the Ukrainian government with the help of the right-wing Nazis, and then the
Is-
people in the eastern part of Ukraine in the Donbass didn't want to go along with that couped government, and so Ukraine started shelling them. The government of Ukraine, the couped government, started shelling them, and so they had the peace agreement called the Minsk Accords, which
I'm
we
very
now know that which was going to give the people in the Donbass, they would stop shelling them, and that they would give them some kind of independence because they were the Russian speakers in that country in the east part. And so Ukraine never followed that peace agreement. And now we know, because Angela Merkel and others have revealed it, that they never intended on following that peace agreement, and they didn't. And they kept shelling those people in the Donbass. And when Putin invaded, it was to stop that shelling. So were you aware of that history?
I am aware of what you are saying. I am not enrolled in your interpretation of exactly what you are saying. I am not. I do.
So what do you disagree with?
I'll tell you the problem I have with it. I do not believe that Ukraine is nothing but a puppet of the United States.
You're adorable.
So we're not going to agree on that one.
So if we stop funding the Ukraine government, the Ukraine government shuts down. Do you know that? Do you know if we stop funding the Ukraine government shuts down, right? We're paying every person in the Ukraine government salary. We're paying their Social Security. You know that, right? Or maybe you don't.
Let me ask you if you know, because I don't like to be talked to like, do you know? So
I'm asking, do you know that?
Do you know what I know? Listen, I'm not saying that everything is clean between the United States.
I'm asking you, did you know that?
I know that there are all kinds of business dealings.
So you don't know that? You didn't know that?
That there is money being paid to Ukraine.
That we are paying their entire government salary. You didn't know that? And that's how we could force a peace agreement tomorrow, is because we would just take back that money and their government collapse.
You're right.
Okay.
That if we completely withdrew support from Ukraine, the government of Ukraine would collapse. I certainly understand that. The difference you and I have is that you seem to think that would be a great thing. I don't. I don't think the Russians having complete control of Ukraine and getting their way in this situation is good for Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Finland, Sweden, and I do not believe that means there would be peace in Europe. There would be anything but peace in Europe.
So you're just another pro-war Democrat. You really don't have anything. You're not really against war. You're for this war and all the propaganda that goes along with it, because this was provoked by NATO. There's no point to even have NATO. I mean, this is really disappointing.
Well,
this is just like your Julian Assange before. You're just as bad on this as you were on Julian Assange before. This is bad.
On Julian Assange before, I said I didn't know. I said I didn't know. And for years, I've been supporting Julian Assange. Okay. For years, I have been saying that I have gone to marches and I've visited with this Stella, and I've walked around the Parliament building in London. I have definitely been in support of Julian Assange and for years.
Okay, well, good. Well, good. People know now. So now people know you're staunch supporter of the Ukraine war effort. So,
you know, it's funny when you say, well, you would say it's strong supporter of Ukraine war. That's your language. It is not mine. I am strong.
You're a weak supporter?
Will you let me finish my sentence?
Sure.
I'm a strong supporter in the path to a negotiated settlement in which there is a Ukraine to negotiate. And what is happening right now, to me, is in a way a vindication of that view, because now real negotiations are beginning. And real negotiations are beginning because both Russia as well as Ukraine know it's not going to be so easy to get everything you want here. And I'm glad that Vladimir Putin is beginning to have countries like China now, for the first time, willing to attend a meeting like that, because he will be getting China, India, Brazil, and other countries, not just the United States, who are saying this thing has got to stop and you're not going to get everything you want.
So it's that kind of attitude that is getting people slaughtered in Ukraine. And it's that kind of naive, that's that kind of attitude, that kind of view of the Ukraine, the NATO and the United States are using the people of Ukraine as cannon fodder to try to inflict economic damage on Russia. And
Right.
so this isn't about liberating from Russia. This is about us
They were
provoking.
already a country. There was
This
nothing.
was-
We're not talking about the Donbass and Crimea.
So you can
You
have this view if you want. It's odious.
It's interesting. So you think that the people of Ukraine and the way they've been fighting in this war are just doing that, just as puppets of the U.S. government? That kind of fighting, that kind of spirit, that kind of unbelievable.
All right, guys. So we got this new chart just dropped. This is in Mediaite. Cable news shows and networks ranked for bias and accuracy. So we're going to dive into the specifics in just a second, but let me just give you the rundown here. This was made by a Colorado startup called Ad Fontes, which apparently means to the sources in Latin. They recently raised $4.2 million in a first round of financing. Now, I find this hilarious for a number of reasons. Literally, any schmuck in the world could put together a media bias chart and throw up the people there, however they want to put them up there. Did you really need to raise $4.2 million for something like this? Where did they get that money? Interesting. So I'm sure it's from, whatever, big banks, the money people. We call them money changers. It's supposed to be like a pejorative because it is a pejorative. These are like the Wall Street types. I'm sure if we look into the specifics of where this money came from, it wouldn't be all that pretty. But anyway, let's look at this chart. Now, by the way, yours truly is not included. I am not on this chart. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The Young Turks made the chart. Apparently, David Pakman made it. Lee Camp made it. And then on the right, you can see here, we have basically all the Fox News shows like The Five, Cavuto, Greg Gutfeld. Greg Kelly made it. He's like a Newsmax host. I think you also have the Daily Wire on here somewhere. You can see Alex Jones. He's on the bottom far right. But notice something about this chart. It drives me crazy that this is a thing that people think is real and worthy of pretending like it's objective, right? You'll notice that in the chart, more reliable, that you're quote unquote more reliable the higher up you are, and the lower you are less reliable. What they have here is the right and the left are put in the less reliable category, and the ones in the center are all corporate and either like pro-Democrat party leaning or quote unquote centrist leaning. So in the middle here, you have CBS, you have NBC, you have CNN, you have PBS NewsHour. And so the takeaway from this chart is supposed to be the more corporate you are, the more you're backed by big money interests. Like
Welcome to a Saturday edition of RBN Live, and you know what it's called on Saturdays now. New show, Shoot the Shit, Saturdays with CJ. And this, first, he's the only one I've discovered has actually covered this chart. And if you had missed it, we covered it in a segment yesterday on the Nick and CJ show. But do you understand, like in the beginning when he's talking, he says, oh, there's Lee Camp, there's TYT. So he sees Lee Camp in TYT, and he doesn't think to mention the people to the left of those people he just mentioned. He'd be like, wow, here's TYT and Lee Camp. Those are some good choices there. Who do they have ahead of them? Or who do they have to the left of them? Nothing. So is that an indication? Now, think to yourself, if a person who didn't know us, would they skip over the fact that we're sitting right there next to the two people they specifically call out on the left? Or is that a person who knows exactly who we are and know to avoid us and in talking about us and to acknowledge us? So I thought this was a great sort of intro video. I do want to listen to a little more to complete the intro of today's show. Let's call this Kyle Ignores RBN. And yeah, he ignores us on this. So let's just call it that. Let's keep it simple. And this is called Kyle Ignores RBN in a segment that he's covering. And I do want to, because I do want you to see how he skips over us. And where does he get it to? He goes, let's start it right about here. All right, so let's listen.
It's supposed to be like a pejorative, because it is a pejorative. These are like the Wall Street types. I'm sure if we look into the specifics of where this money came from, it wouldn't be all that pretty. But anyway, let's look at this chart. Now, by the way, yours truly is not included. I am not on this chart. I don't know if
yours truly is not included. I wonder if he's upset. Because one thing I didn't cover when Nick was here yesterday in the chart, after getting time to think about it, if you look at this chart, you have to ask yourself, you got these other cable news networks. I mean, you're talking about, who can I see that I recognize here? Okay, I see Jesse Waters. I think this is Wolf Blitzer up here. Frederica here. I think that's Meet the Press, Pakman. These are all either cable news networks or channels that have multi-million. I think David Pakman has a few million, if not more than that. TYT, you already know they have like 5 million. So those are the online. Why would they pick some people who have 40,000 subscribers to put on here? Unless there's a true and present fear of this group. You get what I'm saying? Like if you have the biggest of whatever category, why would you have this small group in that same category? Why would you have that? So if we're talking about the people who have the men who have who can bench press the most, and you got 10 7-foot guys, 285 pounds cut. And then you have, the male version of Olive Oil. Mr. Furley. Why would they have Mr. Furley packed in with a bunch of 7 feet tall, chiseled men? Why would they do that unless there's a fear, unless there's something they know about that skinny Mr. Furley type? Interesting that they skipped that. But let's get back to the video with Kyle.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The Young Turks made the chart. Apparently, David Pakman made it. Lee Camp made it. And then on the right, you can see here we have.
You see the pause. You see the pause. And my daughter is my daughter mimicking me, mimicking my laugh out there? I just hold her. Yeah. Oh, that's my wife mimicking my laugh. How dare you? How dare you? Okay. Yeah. So I'm kind of loud. I guess I'm kind of the family's home. So during the weekend, if I stream, the family's home, so they hear my shows. But anyway, I'm gonna rewind it just a few seconds. You can hear the pause where he obviously said to himself, "Oh, I'm not gonna mention RBN." He didn't he didn't rehearse it though, to where it's a smooth transition from mentioning those two and then going away from RBN. It's not a smooth transition. There's an awkward pause that he's obviously ignoring us. So let's listen to that.
Made it. And then on the right, you can see here we have basically all the Fox News shows.
Hold on, I didn't go far enough. I didn't go far enough.
Yours truly is not included. I am not on this chart. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The Young Turks made the chart. Apparently, David Pakman
Listen
made
for
it.
the pause.
Camp made it. And then on the right, you can see here we have basically all the Fox News shows like the Five,
this guy,
Cavuto,
this guy.
Greg Gutfeld, Greg Kelly made it. He's like a Newsmax host. I think you also have the Daily Wire on here somewhere. You can see Alex Jones. He's on the bottom far right. But notice something about this chart. It drives me crazy that this is a thing that people think is real and worthy of pretending like it's objective, right? You'll notice that in the chart, more reliable, that you're quote unquote more reliable.
So what he does do is he does make one of the points that we make in the stream is that obviously the chart. This is why I'm saying Mediaite is a joke, because how is you think it's a coincidence? Let me put it this way: you think it's a coincidence that all of the corporate media, or most of the corporate, or exclusively the people who are considered to be most trustworthy are all corporate media? Do we think that's a coincidence? And that's the point he's making here. I'll let Kyle make it, and then we'll move on. Oops. Pop up, my bad. Here we go now. I'm clicking play.
Whatever, big banks, the money people. We call them money changers. It's supposed to be like a pejorative, because it is a pejorative. These are like the Wall Street types. I'm sure if we look into the specifics of where this money came from, it wouldn't be all that pretty. But anyway, let's look at this chart. Now, by the way, yours truly is not included. I am not on this chart. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. The Young Turks made the chart. Apparently, David Pakman made it. Lee Camp made it. And then on the right, you can see here, we have basically all the Fox News shows like The Five, Cavuto, Greg Gutfeld. Greg Kelly made it. He's like a Newsmax host. I think you also have the Daily Wire on here somewhere. You can see Alex Jones. He's on the bottom far right. But notice something about this chart. It drives me crazy that this is a thing that people think is real and worthy of pretending like it's objective, right? You'll notice that in the chart, more reliable, that you're quote unquote more reliable the higher up you are. And the lower you are less reliable. What they have here is the right and the left are put in the less reliable category. And the ones in the center are all corporate and either like pro-Democrat Party leaning or quote unquote centrist leaning. So in the middle here, you have CBS, you have NBC, you have CNN, you have PBS NewsHour. And so the takeaway from this chart is supposed to be the more corporate you are, the more you're backed by big money interests, like the bigger your name is as a legacy media outlet. And the more you try to do like neutrality, the more truth you're getting out there into the world.
I think I'll pause here. I'll leave it for all of you to go watch this video on his own channel. It's titled Kyle Reacts to Hilarious Media Bias Chart. Okay, you can go find it on Circular Talk. Just Google it, but I think I want to cut it there. It's only meant as a teaser to kind of get us warmed up. But we are going to continue with Kyle, and I guess we can just move right into the first segment of today, and we'll start with the Kyle story. And a lot of these stories are actually this stream. I decided, and this is the reason. So let me throw something up here to tell you what I'm talking about here. So here's the graphic, and center is AOC, and the reason is we're going to read an article. It's a New York Times article. We were going to cover it yesterday. It's a New York Times article, so we're behind a paywall, but somebody was gracious enough to send it to me. So we're going to examine that article today, and it's AOC self-examining herself and how has she changed? So we're going to cover that. But to the right of AOC, you see Kyle Kulinski and Crystal Ball. And to the left of AOC, you see David Pakman and Bernie Sanders. Now, The reason I called this flyer, the overall theme is vote blue, no matter who crew, because this is the crew. We are in full election mode for 2024. People have picked their sides, especially those who are aspiring to be the new mainstream media. So we have the Bernie Sanders industrial complex, the media branch of it. You know, they've been redubbed the NATO left, and now I want to officially redub them the Vote Blue No Matter Who crew, the the SEAL team. I guess this is their SEAL team, their Navy SEAL team. So that's the reason for, because the overarching sort of theme of the entire stream is that this shift by the NATO left, by this Bernie, by some in the Bernie coalition of not only sort of begrudgingly supporting the Democratic Party, but enthusiastically supporting the Democratic Party. So let's go to my bookmarks here. And we'll start with the Kyle Kulinski backlash. And the backlash was most articulated, or should I say, was best articulated on Ryzen, believe it or not. And Ryzen, believe it or not, is a corporate outlet. But Ryzen, to me, is by far to the left of Breaking Points and Kyle Kulinski, aka the NATO left, formerly known as the Bernie Sanders Industrial Complex Coalition. And here's Steph, wife of Jimmy Dore. Let's read just a couple of tweets about it before we get into it. And she says, "Why does Kyle hate on third parties? It's like he has absolutely no moral compass or conscience." Kyle Kulinski says, "Vote blue no matter who," rips into Dr. Cornel West. And that's the video she posted that we're going to be viewing in just a moment here. And here is RBN brother Nick saying, "Imagine being such an obvious sellout that you get roasted by the heel for it." And this is just a clip. We're going to watch the full clip, but this is a clip that Post Duopoly put out. That's Dirtbag Left 1 on Twitter. And this is, so let's actually bring it up now. So here it is here. I'll open it up here.
Leftist commentator Kyle Kulinski is being accused of shaming 2024 Green Party candidate Cornel West for running outside of the party duopoly. Let's watch.
Now, on the Cornel West front, look, understand something. I would like to talk to him and ask him, what do you think you're doing here? Like, what do you think you're doing here? Do you actually think you can win? Because you can't, because we don't have ranked choice voting. We still have first past the post voting. So
let me just point out, and I think this was Post Duopoly or Dirtbag Left 1. I think this is his video, because you see behind their ticker, behind their name slate is is the caption that they put in the video. As you can see, your plan for getting our and what is your plan for getting ranked choice voting, Kyle? You see how they didn't block it out. So they have this commentary through caption, which I thought was hilarious that they didn't block that out or find the version without it. And just let's use this. We don't care what it's saying on the screen. Thought it was funny. Let's listen.
your highest goal that you think you could achieve? Is it the 5% for the Green Party? Is that what it is? So that you can get matching funds and make it more viable? But again, I hate to tell you, the Green Party and no third party will be viable unless and until we get ranked choice voting. Because until that point, there's always going to be this perception you're just a spoiler candidate. And by the way, if we get into a general election and it's Biden versus Trump, and Trump ends up winning because Cornel West got 5% of the vote or something, or 3% of the vote, and he gets blamed.
Blame me.
That's going to set the movement back so much. People are going to look at leftists as...
How does it set the movement back to be perceived as bad by the people we're fighting? How? Don't they not want our policies now? Aren't they vigorously fighting against the policies we want now? But this is effectively Kyle using the AOC argument of relational harm. We're going to have relational harm. We're going to have a backlash that Trump is in office. Send the backlash right to my front door. Tell Backlash to meet me at my front door. Tell him we have something for him. So let's continue with Kyle. I'm sorry, with Rising.
As spoiled brats who are just getting in the way. Now, that's totally separate from the question as to whether or not the spoiler effect actually is real. But there's going to be a perception that it's real, and everybody's going to blame the left for Donald Trump winning.
Who cares?
Some of Kolinsky's viewers are calling this a mask-off moment for the YouTuber, since he pretty much said the exact opposite 2 months ago.
The backlash that's happening online, there's a decent amount of backlash where people are like, what are you doing? Like, do you know like who these people?
Now, I hadn't seen this video. I hadn't even heard of this video. But apparently, just a few weeks ago, while riding in the car, Millionaires Riding in the Car. That's their new show title. Millionaires Riding in the Car. I didn't know this was out. So let me rewind it a little bit and we can hear what the points that he's making, how he's contradicting himself.
Since he pretty much said the exact opposite 2 months ago.
The backlash that's happening online.
2 months, not 2 weeks.
There's a decent amount of backlash where people are like, what are you doing? Like, do you know like who these people are? And then I see a lot of people making a point, which I think is a fair point, which is like, if you're going to run as a Green Party or an independent, because the Green Party, for example, I think the last election they had ballot access for 48 states.
Yeah, they have a real organization.
Now, Nick has made this point many times. You notice when he was running for MPP, and that's what this video is, he hadn't switched to the Green Party. When he was running for MPP, they were fine with projecting like they were still with the virtue signaling, like they were still down with the third party cause, because they had no idea he would make a switch. They couldn't fathom that Dr. Cornel West would be pressured enough to make the switch from the People's Party. But he was, and he did. So let's listen to Kyle. Man, these videos. This is why I love being able to go back with these videos to hear what they said. These clowns that's saying stuff for the moment because they don't have any sort of belief, any sort of policy, any core beliefs. So let's listen.
Yeah, even like the libertarians have between like 48 states and 50 in all the states. Yeah. You know, just the Green Party, for example. I think the last election they had ballot access.
That's what he did, Kyle.
Yeah, they have a real organization.
You said he should go with the Green Party, and that's what he did.
48 states and 50 in all the states. Yeah. You know what I mean? So as far as third parties go, the only ones that are even remotely viable, and I use that term loosely, is the Green Party and the Libertarians.
My peoples is in the building. Rome is in the building. You let me know when you want to get in, Rome. Get you all set up. All right, give me a thumbs up or something when you're ready, then I'll put you in there. So we got Rome was gonna be joining, and it's good he's joining, because I'm telling you, like RBN, if you look at what we say, we're here to black out all of this nonsense media. So countering for all the people, why are you always going after the NATO left? This is what we're here for. We explicitly said this at the inception of RBN when we were called Fred Hampton Leftists. It literally says this on our banner on Twitter, on our banner on YouTube. Our job is to take the phony bullshit propaganda that is being fed to the poor and working class and break that shit and construct that shit. And that's what we're doing. So hopefully, hang on a second here. Oh, shoot. Rome said he was ready, and then his call dropped. All right, Rome. Whenever you're ready to come back, I'll put you in. I'm gonna play the video again. Right when you said it, Rome, your call dropped though.
The libertarians.
I mean, you also have, DSA out there, which has never fielded a presidential candidate before, but they have, chapters nationwide, and it's a real organization with some sort of, infrastructure that could theoretically.
Now, is this a serious suggestion by Crystal Ball? And we need to start calling her Crystal Kalinsky. Is this a serious suggestion? What's up, Rome?
What's going on? I was wondering, did he take her last name? Because that's what has been.
That's a joke that he's called Kyle Ball now, but
she cut off his balls or something, man. I don't know what the hell
something.
Man.
What made you want to join though? Anything you've been hearing all this nonsense?
Oh my God, man. This is a great show. And I was laughing. I wanted to join because I was laughing at how shocked he was to even look at RBN, because for him to say, "Oh, well, we have Lee Kevin over here on the far right, we have Alex Young." Like, nigga, who else over there? Who else over there?
Yeah.
Just like Sabby said, say my name, say my name. These people don't want to. He mad that they didn't acknowledge him like they acknowledged us, and he don't feel like it's fair. But you see how he tried to throw in. I guess you got to have a whole bunch of millions of dollars in corporate. Like, we ain't got none of that shit. We broke as hell over here. What you talking about?
He the one that got millions of dollars? Is he
corporate
serious?
Funding. So yeah, it's just funny to me how these people are shook. But even the highest of the corporate elites cannot ignore us anymore. So Kyle, you can act like you don't see us. You can act like you don't hear us. Act like you don't see the call outs. But we know you are watching and you are hiding from RBN, because not only do we scare you, we can dismantle your whole fucking thing. I mean, make you look bad. And not even just a debate. We can have a heart-to-heart conversation about things and why we feel this way or whatever the fuck it may be, and you will still be exposed as a liar, as a grifting, lying, manipulative motherfucker. You get millions. You have sat in your chair for years and accumulated millions of dollars and have done nothing with it but sit here and play this back and forth game with the Democratic Party, this love-hate relationship with the Democratic Party. You are a fraud. You are a fraud. And it's best that you stay away from RBN. Don't even say RBN. It's best right now. Because you do not want to step on a dragon's toe right now.
I hear you, Rome. And shout out to Bob TV. Bob TV, for those that don't know, Bob TV is that video I use where Peter Dial, when he calls out Peter Dial. Actually, I'm going to play it real quick so everybody knows, because everybody was always saying, who's Bob TV? That guy, like, who is that? So this is Bob TV right here, and this is the classic video everybody knows.
Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope, if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Good day. Welcome to another episode of the Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How are you doing today? You see this guy right here? This is Peter Dow. This is a Mark Trake fool in my best Compton voice. This is a nutwing. This is a nut job, a crazy man who do not have a clue. Stupid, silly, ignorant, dumbfounded, don't have a brain, a butt wipe. I try not to call people names.
Anyway, that's enough. You guys know who Bob TV, but shout out to Bob TV. Good to see you around, sir. We got to get him on the show one of these days to just have a conversation. But glad to see you here. I'll get back to the Kyle video. They're roasting him. They're roasting him on Twitter too, Rome. This Kyle video, like Ryzen. And I'm liking this girl at Ryzen. I don't know her name. When it gets to her, I'll tell you. But I'm liking this girl at Ryzen. She did start off on TYT now.
She actually followed RBN.
Oh, I didn't know that because I did
Well, she
see
follows
her.
me. I know for sure she follows me. So she might, if she follows me, she got to follow the rest of RBN because if she
Yeah, and
follows
I
my
just
crazy
didn't know. Yeah, I just didn't know it was her because I don't even know her name. But she did start out on TYT, and then I saw her filling in. Where I saw her first was filling in for Nina Turner on her show when Nina Turner had the show on TYT, and then I saw her pop up on Rising. It took me a while to recognize her because she changed her hair color. It used to be black, and now it's some other color. But let's listen to her segment. This is her that's leading the pack in roasting or doing half the job of roasting Kyle for this take.
Be mustered behind you.
Back in 2020, he tweeted, as a left winger who will not vote for Biden, I want you to know I'm 100% okay with you blaming me if Trump wins a second term.
Wow.
I mean it. Blame me. Then get to thinking real hard how you're going to get me to support your candidate the next time. Maybe even ask me, I'll tell you.
Look at that, Ron. This proves these people, man, they're just changing with the wind. They don't give a fuck about none of these policy beliefs. They just change whatever is going on, whatever suits them. They just change. And tell me this isn't a clear case of since he's been in Mary that he's made a complete shift.
Yeah.
This is a clear case right here. And let me read the tweet, and then read the tweet, then I'll get your reaction, Ron. As a left winger who will not vote for Biden, I want you to know I'm 100% okay with you blaming me if Trump wins a second term. That's what we say here. I mean it. Blame me. Then get to thinking real hard how you're going to get me to support your candidate the next time. Isn't that sort of one of the things we say, Rome? And what do you think about all this?
I think he's a fucking sellout. I think he's a coward. I think that money hit his bank account and he felt comfortable enough to be like, look, I ain't win or lose. I'm gonna gain. You know, he's gonna get money. He's gonna get money whether Trump is in. Matter of fact, he's gonna get more money when Trump is in office. All those Trump videos that he's gonna be feeding the people's minds with. Oh yeah,
true.
Win or lose, he's gonna be paid. And now we get to see his true colors, the coward that he really is, and how money can actually control a man. Because ain't no way I can go from you can put the blame on me, Akon and shit, to how dare you run against Joe Biden? Like this is, I don't know. If people don't see, if you can't see a sellout for what they really is, then I don't know what to tell you. If his base is looking at what he used to be and what he has become today and say, oh, well, this is fine. You are out of your fucking mind. Because my girlfriend, it took me like 2 years to get her off of Kyle Kalinske. I was like, stop watching him. He's a fucking shit lib. He's going to go back and tell you guys to vote for Joe Biden. I'm telling you guys. Oh, no, he said he wasn't going to vote for Joe Biden. He said he wasn't going to vote for Joe Biden. Well, I voted for Joe Biden. I didn't regret my shit. I told you, motherfuckers. I told you. And now she hate him with a passion. It's crazy how money can actually just make you drop all your principles. Like fuck Medicare for all that he said he was gonna veto. Fuck the water that they're trying to privatize. Fuck USPS that they're still trying to privatize. He still has Trump people in power. You don't talk about none of that shit. You talk about, oh, well, what about the good things Biden's have done? Fuck the good things, because most of the shit is just bad. The good things don't even touch us, regular folk. So what the hell is these men? Where's they really going with this? He wants you in line because it makes him more money. He needs you within that duopoly, whether it be left wing, right wing, blue MAGA, red MAGA, it makes him more money. But going outside of the Democratic Party, going outside the Republican Party, it breaks the chain. And you start to look at people like, are you really a leftist? Do you really support these ideas? Because we have reparations over here. We want to fight for ranked choice voting, but we have to, we need more leverage for that right now, right? Because seeing Democrats, how they voted down, we need more leverage on bills like Medicare for all, because we have to hold power against Democrats and Republicans. But fuck Kyle, I'm tired of ranting. Kyle gonna get what he deserves. And I'm telling you, his career is gonna. He is kamikazing his career. He think this blue MAGA shit is gonna save him, but it's gonna hurt him.
Yes, sir. And let's continue the video. Let's see them roast him a little more. She goes in on him a little bit here.
So Kyle Kulinski, maybe a little bit hypocritical. I don't know, Jessica. That original tweet that he sent talking about how he wasn't going to vote for Joe Biden and he's fine with being blamed for Biden losing because he refuses to support him. And then criticizing someone for daring to run as a third-party candidate seems pretty inconsistent.
I don't know Kyle Kulinski's background. I don't listen to Kyle Kulinski. I don't know anything about him, but I can judge based off of what he has said there, that he has not spent a lot of time as a grassroots organizer. And I think when you're a political commentator and your commentary isn't routed in facts, in data, or the perceptions of the public or a political movement, you tend to get led astray. You tend to contradict.
Man. I could not have said that. She's like, this nigga is not based in nothing. This is what it looks like when you're not based in reality, when you don't know any friends, you don't have no poor people, you don't know working class people. I couldn't say it better myself, man. This is Jessica.
He just sit on his chair, pull up a motherfucking MSNBC article, and yell at the fucking computer. He's been doing this for years, and he's out of touch. I don't give a fuck how left he say he is. He is so out of touch with not only the working class, but what the left itself. He's out of touch. He's out of touch with the left itself, and that goes from the class traders to the poorest on the fucking ground. They do not agree with him. Actually, 70% of Democrats don't even agree with him.
True that. And let's continue with Rising.
Predict yourself. And that's really what we see happening here. If you are someone who believes in what Cornel West's platform is, which I assume, and I'm sure his audience does as well, assume Kyle Kulinski does. But the argument he's making there is about viability of the movement, viability of the campaign that Cornel West is running. And he's complaining that if this doesn't go well for him and he pulls 5% of the vote or what have you, and it spoils the election and Donald Trump becomes president and those votes are taken away from Joe Biden, it is your job as a member of the left and a political commentator that's very popular, explain why that's not the case. Don't just be like, hey, this could cause some criticism down the line. Yeah, okay, what's your argument for why the criticism's invalid? We'll never get to a place where we have a viable third party that actually represents the ideas of the left if the left never runs candidates.
If the left never runs candidates, and this is the building, Rome, that the professional managerial class don't want to do. They want to show up when the party cracking already. And I used to throw parties at my house before I was a promoter. They want to show up when the party cracking, not to build the party. They don't want to do what I had to do back in the day when I threw parties when I was in college. I'm flying in every car. And I went to Cal State Long Beach. It's 30,000 students at the time I went there. 30,000 students, sir. So I'm flying in cars. They don't want to do the work to get people there. They don't want to raise the money. They don't want to advertise. They just want to show up and the shit be cracking. And that's just not how we're ever going to build any sort of movement outside of the red.
I find it funny. I find it funny how these people have the nerve to call out Dr. Cornel West a Green Party presidential candidate, right? Green Party. But they aren't saying a damn thing about RFK being a spoiler, nothing about Marianne Williamson being a spoiler, none of this. They actually agree with her running, right? So if anybody was taking votes away from the Democratic Party, it would be another Democratic candidate, not a Green Party candidate, which these voters was not going to vote for you guys. Stop acting like these voters was going to be like, oh man, they kicked Greens off the ballot again. I guess I got to vote Democrat. No, they're going to get pissed off. They're going to actually go home, probably get on their computer, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and talk shit about y'all, how y'all are less Democratic than anything. You are not owed these votes, and you do not own these votes. These voters are not going to vote for you in the first place, and this is what Kyle Kulinski should be saying. These votes will not any vote. I don't give a damn if Dr. Cornel West got 30-something% in the election. None of those votes came from the Democrats. All of those votes came from post-Democrat people, independents, and right, because Republicans are going to vote Republican and Democrats are going to vote Democrat, but they are still the minority parties. They are still the minority parties, and we do have a chance to actually get Dr. Cornel West past the 5-11%, whatever it may be. But none of those votes are going to change a damn thing. He's not going to win, okay? But we do need more leverage and another party in America, so we can, try to hold these elites accountable, or hold bills against them. Remember when they told us forced to vote wouldn't work, and Republicans went and forced to fucking vote, and it worked. See, we are dealing with people who have nothing but losing strategies. Every strategy Kyle Kalinske have put out there, Justice Democrats and all this bullshit, has failed. All them progressives that he helped put in office failed. You can't talk to a loser about winning a damn thing. Kyle is a fucking loser. And we shouldn't even be listening to him when it comes about anything about strategy or voting or the way we should be moving. When the last time you seen this man out of his chair? When the last time you seen this man feed someone that wasn't himself? He is out of touch, and he's a fucking loser.
Spot on, Rome. Let's continue with the video. We'll finish this out, and then we got more vote blue no matter who. We're destroying vote blue no matter who today, Rome. That's the overall theme. So we got more vote blue no matter who clowns that we're going to destroy after Kyle here. So let's continue.
There's about 60% of the country that's participating at most. This is not an argument about who's spoiling the election. Cornel West running is about pulling the 40% of the country that doesn't participate in the political process because they don't feel they're represented, because they don't believe in it. That's what populist movement should be about. So any excuse about, Cornel West just being a spoiler and that's why he shouldn't run is just service to the Democratic Party, just quelling.
Man, I'm thinking we got to have her on. If she follows you need to reach out her. Because the reason I wrote...
She says she's a communist. She says she's a
communist.
I
didn't know that. That's the reason why I had wrote her off. Just like I wrote off the other girl that's on there. She's a comedian on TYT. I see you on TYT. Ain't no reason for me to do nothing with you. You get what I'm saying? I'm like, whatever. So then I see her on Nina Turner. So I'm like, at least I know she's progressive. And then I wonder if she said, oh, these niggas at TYT down with some NATO bullshit. Fuck this shit, and left. Because what she's saying just doesn't match up with being formerly a TYT employee. This is shocking to me. Yeah, this is shocking to hear this because she used to be on TYT. But hey, if you said she says she's a communist, where did you hear that?
Twitter.
Oh, Twitter. She said that. Yeah. I'm loving it. So we got to have her on. Her name is Jessica Burbank. If you're watching Jessica, we want to have you on.
Any dissent from the left so that leftists have no options but to vote for the candidate that is a little bit closer to their views than the other one. That's a state we've been in for far too long. And there have been many candidates that have run to try and shake things up. But Kyle Kalinski's argument there doesn't test against his other arguments he's made himself very well, or the typical views of a leftist. So I just wonder where it's coming from as a political commentator. What makes you decide, you know what, I'm going to start making excuses for the Democratic Party, actually? It seems like a big switch up, and I'm curious as...
And that's the same question I asked Nick yesterday. So I'll ask you the same thing. And what she's asking, like, what's the explanation of this? What is it? Is it Crystal? Is it the fact that maybe it's not Crystal per se, but it's because Crystal is trying to build a multi-million-dollar industry called Breaking Points. So he has to sort of get in line with that if he wants buku money. You get what I'm saying? Like
money.
Exactly. So what do you think, Rome? Why has he done it?
As a leftist, bro, as a communist, as a socialist, whatever the fuck you want to name yourself, proclaim to yourself, we have no dog in this fight. We don't give. It doesn't matter if Trump or Biden win. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we still are going to be fucked. Working class still going to be fucked. So why should we give a fuck about what's going on the other side of the fence when we need to clean up and rake our yard, cut our grass, get our shit together? We need to get our house together. Fuck what's going on over there, because no matter what happens over there, it's gonna happen. They're gonna keep on doing what they do. They're gonna keep on giving each other power, and this is why I say people don't lose elections. They go on vacations, and then they go to a higher position that sometimes they're not even voted into.
Kamala Harris.
So yeah, we have no dog in this fight, and the only reason, like, if a motherfucker drop a couple hundred stacks on me or $1 million on me, and if I said, hey, maybe we should vote for Joe Biden, like, dude, if I said that shit, niggas be like, yeah, Rome sold the fuck out. Rome sold the fuck out, and y'all should look at it the same way. He sold the fuck out. No matter if somebody handed him money right then and there, or they promised him, you know what I'm saying, something in the future. He's obviously selling out for something, because, nigga, we have no dog in this fight. We don't. It doesn't matter if Joe Biden or Trump wins. We should be pushing to make sure that third parties get where they can get. Now, me as a non-voter, and I'm probably not even going to vote. I'm probably not going to vote for Dr. Cornel West. You know, I have, like, that's just my thing. I just don't believe in voting, especially in electoral politics. But I would be a fool to sit here as a communist and neglect and not help the mutual power that's being built around me.
Right.
The people that's like-minded, that want to go into power, the people that want to go, you know, into politics, they have the mindset to do that. If
Rome, I don't know. I think you're frozen. If you can hear me, Rome, you're frozen.
It's all about the fucking money. It's all about the fucking money.
Oh, Rome, the last 10 seconds you were frozen. So I don't know if you want to repeat the last 10 seconds you were frozen, sir.
Shit, man. Like, we need true power. We need hundreds of more. Damn, this shit's still fucking up.
A little bit, but that time at least I can hear you.
We need hundreds of more unions. We need hundreds more mutual aid, you know, parties. And not only do we need a third party, we need a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So it doesn't matter. Like, this is just the beginning. This is just the fucking beginning. We're gonna need more parties, because who's to say that the Green get in power and they just run rogue, right? We're gonna need somebody else to keep. We're gonna need to keep a check and balance, but we should be fighting for more power. We should be fighting for ordinary people to get in a position of power, so we can actually have people that's not out of touch in place, so they can put things in place for us, you know, and not sign off on bills like the Iron fucking Dome.
That was terrible. And Roger Meadows is in the building. What's up, Roger? Thanks for this super chat. I will read this because it's pertinent to the conversation. In California, Arizona, Washington, all these states, I'm not going to say all the states you see listed, voters can start and run a citizen ballot initiative to amend state constitution to give them ranked choice voting. 2024 will appear on I think that's Nevada's ballot, and I believe they're saying because of this. I believe Roger is trying to make the point because of said ballot initiative. So he's saying you want ranked choice voting in your state. These are some of the states that you can go actually do this through ballot initiative. So that is some great information from Roger Meadows, always with the great intel. And let's finish
I'm
out
all
this.
About third parties.
Go ahead.
I'm all about third parties, but we need this, we need that, we need this. No, you need to shut the fuck up, bro. You need to pull your fucking balls up. You need to man the fuck up. You need to man the fuck up and stop being afraid to lose your liberal following. And yes, Your followers are fucking shit libs, man. Ain't no way you can sit here and take up for Joe Biden, who just broke up these strikes, who gave more land to these oil companies than Donald Trump, got more kids locked up in cages than Donald Trump and Obama combined. Said nothing why these people are dying at the borders. They are killing people in the waters with spikes and man, suck my dick, bro. Y'all niggas is psychopaths. Y'all are fucking psychopaths.
Word. And let's continue. It broke up a little bit, but it was choppy, and I understood what you were saying. It broke up just a little bit. But
That's where that comes from.
Yeah, he keeps talking about the perception mattering more than the reality of whether or not Cornel West is a spoiler candidate. And I think you're right. He should be the one explaining to people why that's not the case. If you're not in media to change perceptions, then really why even bother? That's kind of the whole point why we get on these screens and talk to people, is to try to explain the issues to them. Sometimes I learn more from the viewers than they learn from me, to be fair, but that's always the goal. And then also, how are you going to sit there and criticize a third party candidate as a member of the Democratic Party when the establishment is so hell-bent, it seems, on getting rid of progressive candidates? I mean, they basically stole the primary from Bernie back in 2016. So what is the alternative that Kyle Kulinski would suggest? The Democratic establishment clearly has no interest in listening to many progressives in their party. They clearly are not interested in allowing a outside candidate that they did not handpick to take over the primary process. So it seems like in some cases, having a third party challenger is the only way for that segment of the party to have their voice be heard.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous too. You have this guy, Kyle Kulinski, to me looks like a lost member of NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys.
I was hoping someone would bring up his frosted tips.
Oh, this girl, man. It feels like she does comedy. I bet she's an actress. I wonder if she's in LA. She just feels like an actress. I've worked with a bunch of them. She feels not like she's acting now, but
she know how to control the room
to the camera. Sure. She can play to the camera, and the way she said that joke, that's just funny.
She been holding that shit in all day.
Yeah, she can't be part of TYT if she making critiques like this about Kyle Kulinski. Is she going in totally? And she does more jokes. Let me rewind it a second. And she does a couple of jokes about his hair. Let's listen.
Yeah, I think it's dangerous too. You have this guy, Kyle Kulinski, to me looks like a lost member of NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys right now.
I was hoping someone would bring up his frosted tips.
Yeah, please, we had to. I don't think that's going to connect. You and I are both coming from blue collar backgrounds. I don't think someone like Kyle Kulinski with $1 billion books behind him and the frosted tips is connecting with a working class audience. I think his audience,
$1 billion books behind him, $1 million in the bank. He's not reaching out to the working class. You see how it's so. This isn't new information, Ron. What makes us so giddy and laughing is that we're seeing the same shit we've been saying on corporate media. We're like, oh, finally somebody's saying this shit. It's not new information. It's just that it's shocking to see this on the Hill. To be honest with you, it's shocking to see this level of left analysis on the Hill. I guess it's because of Jessica. So let's listen.
is progressives who are politically engaged, which, if you are the Democratic Party, that's a valuable base, because I'm sure those people have blue collar family members that also vote. These are the people that are paying attention to politics, that make time for it for whatever reason. That is what they do. Those people are very important in the political and democratic process in the United States because they will remind their family about elections. They will tell them their views about elections. If you want the left to win, you should be giving your audience the talking points to win over their family members for voting for a leftist candidate. That just is common sense. And so to me, this just reeks of Democratic Party interference, Democratic Party consultant going and talking to Kyle Kalinske and saying like, listen, you know, this is our argument for this. This is why that video we heard you and your partner in the car with the sunglasses on saying this stuff. It's kind of dangerous for us.
Dog, like Crystal
What's
Ball,
your partner in the sunglasses?
Dog, this shit is so fucking petty. I love it, dog.
Oh man, this girl Jessica is funny as hell. She
said, I'm not even gonna acknowledge you. That's crazy.
Yeah, with his partner with the sun. I wonder, it feels like she has no idea who these people are. It feels like she doesn't know Crystal Ball and Kyle Kalinske as much as we know about Crystal Ball and Kyle Kalinske, which is good, which is a good sign.
It's a good thing, but I think I don't know. I really feel like she was taking a shot by calling Crystal Ball a nobody because come on, man, Crystal Ball was on the rise. She was on the hill. She was like the top person that they had.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure they got her picture on the fucking wall at their headquarters somewhere, right? Like you gotta know who the fuck Crystal Ball is if you so-called leftist or you in the spear of political commentary. Like that's just the pettiness is just funny as hell. And I wonder what Kyle is gonna say. I don't think he's gonna say no. He's not really too controversial, and he really don't do the clapbacks. But only thing he can really say is, "Oh, well, my dye job is better than yours. I can still see the black in your roots."
Oh, Rome. All right, let's finish this video. It's almost done.
Here's our vision. I think people who are media figures are susceptible to that kind of influence from members of the Democratic Party. This doesn't seem like it's something coming from a member of the left who wants our movement to succeed. And that's really scary because I'm sure there's members of his audience who listen to what he says and relay it. And so it's not really about the commentator having a huge base of voters who are progressives or members of the working class who are swayable by Cornel West. It's about having a base of people who go on and talk to their family members who are. And that's really scary as a member of the left, that someone could grow an audience based off of a leftist perspective and then switch up when it's election time.
Yeah, I don't know much about Kyle Kalinski's back.
Man, Rome, there's no way. I would love to talk to her and ask her if she didn't sign an NDA with. Why did you work for TYT? Did you know about them? No, I didn't know any because this feels so not TYT the way she's saying. Because to say this critique, that sounds exactly what we would say. You spend years to build up a left audience telling them all this left shit, and now you switch it up at the end?
Because this game of paddleball that they have with the Republican and the Democratic Party, it keeps him, you know what I'm saying? It keeps him getting richer, you know what I'm saying? He keep getting money off of it. So now he can say, oh, well, we hate the Democrats. Fuck the Democrats. Fuck Joe Biden. And then when it's time to actually, you know what I'm saying, put your money where your mouth is, you're like, oh, well, yeah, let's the Democrats looking kind of bad over here, y'all. Maybe we can go with the lesser evil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go with the lesser evil because of these people over here. Then they go back to fuck Democrats, fuck Joe Biden, fuck who else is running at the time. It's going to be a back and forth, and this is what helps him. It helps his channel grow. It helps his bank account grow. And if anything outside of this back and forth rotation, whether it be going up and down, if a third ball or a third paddle come, it messes up the whole fucking game. So now you have to, you know, relearn everything that you learned, relearn everything that you have.
I think we lost. There he goes. He went out for a second. There you go. All right, so let's play the video. It has 3 minutes left.
Background: either I know the woman he's in the car with is his wife, Crystal Ball, who hosts her own program and is kind of considered a member of the progressive left. Kyle was one of the co-founder of Justice Democrats, which is a PAC that requires candidates to refuse to accept corporate PAC money. So I don't know if he doesn't necessarily have the grassroots organizing experience, but clearly there's still some inconsistency here. some hypocrisy here, and he's taken a lot of heat on that from the left. So we'll see if maybe this perhaps hurts some of his popularity among the audience.
Yeah, I think it will. I hope it will, because when you have someone not making a strategic plan for us to gain power to see our political agenda ever enacted in the United States, how can that person be a leader? That's really what this should be about: is winning over either hearts and minds on the issues. That's what a media presence could be used for, persuading people of your particular political persuasion, or saying strategically the way that we gain power is not the way of following the Democratic Party. There's a lot of different ways you can use your public platform. And I think just building one off of being a leftist and gaining people's attention based off of communicating those ideas in a receivable way and convincing way on a regular basis to counter common narratives and the common media narratives we hear in mainstream media. That's good, that's useful. But then when you switch up on your entire audience and steer them in another direction, it's something we've seen far too often in the left. And I think if we get into this industry,
I didn't watch it all the way to the end here. This shit is fucking like, she could be on RBN right now saying this exact analysis that I'm very surprised to see this on Ryzen in particular about a popular another popular sort of podcast, meaning like he has slightly less subscribers than Ryzen, and they're going after him in this way. Like, this is refreshing to see this at Ryzen, to be honest with you.
And you get into this industry and you make a platform for yourself as a reporter, as a journalist, as a commentator. People will follow you because they trust you. People follow people. They're sick of the mainstream media. They watch shows like Rising and other online shows now. Streaming is big. And it's because they realize that you found someone you trust with a background you respect, and you want to hear the news and what's going on in politics from their perspective. And then there's a lot of people that can be led astray if you decide to switch up on them. It's just, I get that people change their mind, but I don't think that's what happened here, because Kyle didn't explain, I used to support Cornel West and now I have different thoughts on this. It was a very paternalistic, what do you think you're doing running like this? And it happens a lot in politics from political commentators, and I don't know where it comes from, but it makes me feel for audiences that have been led astray by, progressive networks and by progressive commentators.
I think she's kind of slightly talking about TYT a little bit, her former network, and I'm assuming it's her former network. We can bring that down. That's the end of that video. But they totally destroyed Kyle. Like, he's being dragged all over Twitter about that clip, the clip from this video. So do you think the word gets back to these people like Kyle and Crystal? Do you think they ever hear like, man, everybody kind of upset about the shit you said, or they just kind of go off into the villa with their wine and never even hear about the peasants? What do you think, Rome? Oh, hold on. I don't hear you. Hello? Yeah, I don't hear anything. All right. Well, so we'll see if Rome is able to come back in just a second. But we're going to pivot to the next story here. And again, we're staying along the lines of Vote Blue No Matter Who crew. And we're going to go from one, and there goes Rome again. We'll go. I'll see if he has any final words in a second here. I'll add you in, Rome. Let's see if it's working now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. There you go.
All right. Yeah,
now
my bad. My auntie had called and messed up. I'm on my phone. But I find it funny how, these people like Crystal Ball, Kyle Kalinske, they never explain why Donald Trump would lose votes to someone like Dr. Cornel West. Is it policy? Do they feel burnt? Are they just, fucked up from the inflation? Why? Why would somebody like Donald, I don't want to say Donald Trump, why would somebody like Joe Biden, who's been in office all of our lives, lose any voters? Any Democratic voters at that? That's some loyalty shit to vote for Jim Crow Joe.
Yeah.
Why would they switch parties, right? So we need to start asking these questions. And I feel like, do they care? No. If they did, they wouldn't be saying the shit that they saying now. They know the working class is in trouble up to our neck and shit. You know what I'm saying? Without any swimming lessons. They know that 70% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck. They have the same information as political commentators that as we have. They know what the fuck is going on, but that doesn't help them. Helping you doesn't help them. Standing in that party line, saying what the party wants, saying what the corporations want. That's what helps them. Being advertisement freely. That's what friendly. That's what helps them. Not what the fuck going on with the working class. Because if that was the case, shit, Crystal Ball wouldn't be as rich as she is right now. She would be like literally giving away all her money if she was a real pioneer for leftists. But I don't even have. Do she actually call herself a leftist? Does she consider herself a leftist? Because I know she support Israel. So
I don't know if she says leftist or progressive. She says one of them. I don't recall.
Whatever it is, it's a motherfucking lie. The only thing these progressives do is progress us towards death, a faster death. That's it. Because they haven't done a damn thing for climate change. Actually got worse on the progressive watch. So yeah, progress these nuts. They don't progress.
All right, let's move in to the next shit lib on the list today. So we're gonna go ahead and move. It turns out David Pakman, along with a lot of progressives, they call people like us the purity left. And David Pakman hates the purity left. You know, people who stand on principle. That's the purity left to them. So this is the only person I've seen defending Bernie Sanders over his critique of Cornel West. The only video I've seen, Rome, and let's listen.
The purity test progressives are about to get mad at Bernie Sanders. Is Bernie Sanders no longer progressive enough for the progressive gatekeepers? David, sir.
Is Bernie Sanders no longer progressive enough for the gatekeepers are calling other people gatekeepers.
What these motherfuckers got slogans for other parts of the left, for people that's further left. They even call us extreme left, far left, dumb left, all kind of lefts. But we are the fucking gatekeepers. Hold on, let me hear this fucking
ridiculous. We are the gatekeepers to him, but let's listen here.
The purity test progressives are about to get mad at Bernie Sanders. Is Bernie Sanders no longer progressive enough for the progressive gatekeepers? David, sir, what are you talking about? Here's what I'm talking about. Progressive Senator Bernie Sanders went to New Hampshire over the weekend to rally in support of the re-election of President Joe Biden. He subsequently was interviewed by CNN's Dana Bash. And in this interview, he said, listen, Cornel West, who's running as a Green Party candidate, Cornel's a friend of mine. But we have a question right now about, does democracy remain? Do the autocrats take over? And when those are the stakes, we need to bring the entire progressive community together to make sure that neither Donald Trump nor Ron DeSantis or whoever are elected president. Bernie gets it, and some progressives are furious with him. I've been saying this for weeks. The Cornel West candidacy is not serious, and the best it can hope to do is derail Joe Biden in a couple of states. But here is Bernie saying,
what does he mean by not serious? What's not serious about it? And
he's running for president. He's going to be on the ballot, and they pushing for 50 states. I would say that's dead ass serious.
So he's saying it's not serious. It's like these people only understand, they only want to participate in a fight that they know they're going to win. It's just like a freaking professional managerial, guys. Like, I ain't showing up unless I know I can beat the motherfucker. Like, you ain't just going out there and just just have some. Let's just have some good fisticuffs here and let the chips fall where they may. They're like, no. Unless I know that shit is fixed, where I know I'm going to win, I'm not showing up at all. I'm not here to build anything. I have brunch in 2 hours. That's basically the point of view.
And I want to ask,
go ahead,
David, what the fuck democracy do we live under? And you know what? It's so crazy how y'all say, well, if the voters get their way, do democracy still wins? Are we still going to have democracy? The voters voted for Donald Trump. That's democracy, ain't it? Win or lose.
It's democracy.
Everybody keep calling me. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
All right. We don't live under democracy. If we did, like Nick pointed this out, we wouldn't have Goldman Sachs in our government, right? Nina Turner, whatever the fuck her name is, she wouldn't have her position. We didn't vote these people in. What democracy do we live?
He getting another call, I think, because he went out again. He was just about to say, what democracy do we live in? But he got another call. So Rome, I'm going to play the video. I don't know if you can hear me. I'll play the video, sir. And when you get back, I guess we'll get back to you here.
Saying it, and he is completely correct. And there are furious progressives now saying even Bernie doesn't meet our standard.
Sanders, Cornel West, who is a close ally of yours, he is running.
Why is David Pakman trying to pretend? Why is David Pakman trying to pretend like people are turning on Bernie Sanders just now? Like people didn't turn against Bernie Sanders when he endorsed him the first time. Like people didn't turn against Bernie Sanders when he voted for to send billions to the NATO. Like, why are you trying to pretend like when he withdraw the resolution? Like, why are you the Yemen resolution? That is, if you because I think it was maybe a multiple resolution, but the Yemen resolution is the one I'm talking about. Let's continue.
Running a third-party campaign for president. He recently criticized you for endorsing President Biden's reelection. Listen to what he said.
I love the brother, and you know, even in love, people have deep disagreements about these things. But I think again, he's fearful of the neo-fascism of Trump. People look at Biden, they don't really want to tell the full truth. He's created the best economy that we can get. Is this the best that we can get? You're gonna tell that lie to the people just for Biden to win?
What's your reaction to that?
And we'll see if David Pakman addresses what Cornel says. My bet is he's going to just skip over it. He's just going to skip over it because is what Cornel West saying is true. You're exaggerating what Joe Biden did just to get him elected? You're going to lie? That's the truth. So I'm curious to see what David says. Let's let it play some more.
Well, my reaction is that certainly is not the best economy that we can create. That was what my speech was about yesterday. We've got to join the rest of the industrialized world, guarantee healthcare to all. We've got to cut the cost of prescription drugs in half. We've got to raise the minimum wage to at least $17 an hour. We've got to build the affordable housing we desperately need. But where I disagree with my good friend, Cornel West, is I think in these really very difficult times,
right,
where there is a real question whether democracy is going to remain in the United States.
And this is the central question, Rome. Democracy remaining. This is where they're selling their soul on. And I don't know if Bernie Sanders really believes that, Rome. I don't know. Because there's nobody in my community that believes it.
What are Republicans going to do that is going to be so, you know what I'm saying? Are they going to be so powerful that the elected Democrats can't just, you know, throw it out? The elected Democrats in Congress and House, do they not have power to keep democracy going. Bernie Sanders, David Pakman, Kyle Kalinske, and this shit is it is laughable, man. It is really laughable, but it's heartbreaking at the same time because I know that these men have millions of people listening to them, amongst them, and they are being led astray. You do not live under a democracy. If anything, you live under corporate fascism. A lot of people say you live under a republic, but no, you live under corporate fascism. And Joe Biden has dabbled into corporate fascism. He just broke up a strike. He's literally, by definition, a fascist. And this is the people that y'all, this is the horse that you got. This is the horse that you want everybody to hop on. Bullshit. We have better candidates out here. And to say that, oh, this isn't serious. What makes it not serious? What makes him not serious saying he wants to, you know, he wants single payer to pass. You know what I'm saying? He want to fight for single payer. He want to fight for the working class. And like other candidates that was too afraid to say the P word, he actually said he wanted to fight for the poor. Bernie Sanders. Right? Because we couldn't get that out of Bernie Sanders. I couldn't even get that out of Bernie Sanders when he visited Detroit. And we used to get him ready for his stub speeches. What is not serious about this? These people aren't serious because if you can look at Joe Biden and tell me that this is the best that we can get, if you can look at this economy and say this is the best economy that we are living in, that's bullshit. And I'm not even a Trump supporter, and even I know we was living better under fucking Trump.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back in. David Pakman, he's terrible at this this propaganda, this Democratic propaganda. He's one of the weakest propagandists, and we've talked about this. Nick and I did a segment, but let's listen at his attempt as we're going to destroy it in a second.
Right. Where there is a real question whether democracy is going to remain in the United States
It is
of America.
not a real
Donald
question.
Trump is not somebody who believes in democracy, whether women are going to be able to continue to control their own bodies, whether we have social justice in America, we end bigotry. Around that, I think we have got to bring the entire progressive community to defeat Trump or whoever the Republican nominee will be, support Biden, but at the same time, which is what I did yesterday, is demand that the Democratic Party, not just Biden, have the guts to take on corporate greed and the massive levels of...
What has that demanding done? Bernie Sanders, motherfucker, has been demanding shit and writing strongly worded letters, nigga, for 20 years. What has that gotten you? What has that gotten you, Bernie Sanders? What has that gotten you?
And
Nothing.
then to say, you know what I'm saying, the corporate greed. Motherfucker, Joe Biden had more billionaires donate to him than any motherfucking president candidate ever. What the fuck is you talking about? Another corporate greed. Man, we live under corporate fascism, Bernie, and we all know it, bro. You can't hide this shit from us. And to sit here and say, oh, well, is women going to have control over their bodies? I don't know. Are they Democrats? Are they? Because I could have sworn Roe v. Wade happened under you, right? I could have sworn y'all had like 50-something years to get this shit done, right? I could have sworn y'all had majority under Carter, Obama, Clinton, Biden. But no, it's always, oh, it's that one and two people, those two people over there. Yeah. They messed up the whole thing. Over a whole motherfucking thing. Only two, yeah, okay, I know a revolving villain when I see one. Y'all motherfuckers ain't playing me, bro. I ain't that dumb. I might have dropped out of high school, but I ain't that motherfucking dumb.
Hey, let's continue with the video. David Pakman just showing his ass.
Of income and wealth inequality that we see today.
My bad. Here we go now.
Is Bernie no longer progressive enough? Has Bernie
Bernie hasn't been progressive for several years, sir. Bernie has not been that. For several years, he's been critiqued.
Sold out. I remember in 2020, we talked about the so-called progressive saying Bernie sold out because he's supporting.
So you're admitting. You are just now admitting that 2 years ago we were saying he was a sellout. So why are you acting like now it's new? like he's a newly a sellout. Like because he has this critique of Cornel West and he's sheepdogging for the Democratic Party. Oh, now we've been calling him a sellout, sir. And it's a reflection. This is why they get so offended, because it's a reflection on them. If we say Bernie Sanders is a sellout and they worship Bernie Sanders, what does that mean about them?
Yep.
You see why they take it so personally when we go after these clowns?
And they got to be Captain Save a politician every time. Every time.
Every
like, we're not
time.
about to sit here and act like Bernie Sanders didn't just sign off on money to Ukraine. No oversight to that money. Even if you agreed to sending money and weapons to Ukraine, everybody should agree with having oversight on the fucking money, just like we have oversight on our fucking money. We can't even spend over $300 without the shit getting reported to the IRS. But you're gonna sit here and let this man, okay, all right. Go ahead and play Captain Save a politician and see how long you guys let. This is why RBN is taking over. Because you guys don't even you guys don't stand for nothing. Nothing, bro. Just sit in your chair, talk about politicians, suck their dick all fucking day, and go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a fucking year and do the same shit over. And people just like, okay, well, I need results now, man, because I've been watching you for years. You been getting richer. I've been getting poor. Something isn't adding up here, man. Have you at least reached out to your base to help them? No, nothing. You're not going to get anything from these people but fucking lip service.
Spot on. And let's continue the video. Luckily, this video is not that long. You got like 3 minutes left. Let's listen.
Supporting Biden. Why would Bernie sell out? What does he have to gain? He's 80 something and towards the end of his career. Why on earth would he sell out? Does Bernie have a track record?
Because he doesn't want to end up like Nader. He's answered this. He doesn't want to end up like Nader. That's why. People like you in the professional manager, people like them, though, Roman, a professional managerial class, you know what they care about? Their work legacy. I want to be remembered like this I don't give a fuck, man, what my past employer thinks about me. I don't give a fuck, but this is what you guys care about. So that's
they make Nader sound way more base than he actually is. They make Nader sound base as fuck. Like, this dude had the power to throw a horseshoe in a motherfucking in a duopoly and shake some shit up, even for a little bit. Like, wow, I want to be like Nader. What the fuck, you think that's a bad thing?
No, he does. And so apparently, let's see what David said.
Record over decades of being in public service, of ever selling out, and now he's going to sell out at this point. Bernie Sanders.
Saying he has a record of decades of never selling out. Where have you been? What are you talking about? He has a record of never selling out. He has a record of selling out multiple times.
Sanders is committed to stopping dangerous autocrats. Progressives should be committed to stopping dangerous autocrats. That is the truth.
Like Joe.
Okay, so Joe Biden's going to be in power. He's arguing against Joe Biden. I don't know if you know this or not. So if that's the case, vote for Dr. Cornel West. Thank you, David. What the fuck are you talking about?
And so, listen, is Cornel West wrong on all of his policy ideas? No, of course not. Is he completely wrong for most political offices? Yeah, to some degree. Does he have any shot of accomplishing anything other than getting Trump or DeSantis or whoever elected? Best case, his campaign does well. He gets what could be called well for a Green Party candidate. He gets Trump or DeSantis elected. And so this isn't about silencing dissenting voices within the left. This is not about saying people shouldn't run or should be blocked from running or anything. No, it's about, do we recognize the insanely dangerous, autocratic, fascistic, almost authoritarian direction that the Republican Party has gone in over the last 6 years? I recognize it. Bernie recognizes it. Bernie, who was the progressive darling just a few years ago. Remember when
Not a few years ago, sir. Not a few years ago. Because in 2020, there was people who have fell off his train, his wagon, Even in 2020, because he didn't. Oh, there goes. I didn't even know you dropped out. Even in 2020, because of what happened in 2016. So stop acting like this. There's multiple videos. Jimmy Dore, for example, I played it a couple of weeks ago, where Jimmy Dore is calling out Bernie Sanders 4 or 5 years ago for not saying anything about the Democrats gypping him in an election. So this is completely devoid of any sort of historical chronological events that David Pakman, in order to say what he's saying about Bernie Sanders, he has to erase away all the stuff that Bernie Sanders has been called out about in the last 5, 6, 7 years. That's what he has to do.
Test was, are you progressive enough to support Bernie? And I was. Okay. Now it's, oh, this guy is just trying to silence voices and Bernie's too conservative and all. No. Bernie gets it. And so I'm glad that he is saying it this directly. Is he alienating some purity test progressives? Yeah, he is.
Can we pause this real quick? Because it's just fucking stupid, bro. Like, this nigga is stupid. He's stupid, or he's playing dumb. He's paid to play dumb. Because how can you sit here and say, have you paid attention and noticed the fact that the Republican Party is becoming? Motherfucker, can you say the same shit about Democrats? Where have you been when RBN and all these other leftists have been calling these people out for their fascist ways, for silencing protesters, for silencing, or just straight up killing activists off? Where have you been when the Democratic Party send, I'm sorry, not the Democratic Party, let's say people who's elected under the Democratic Party send cops at the protesters in their fucking cities and whatnot? You guys are some of the biggest fascists, and you get away with the shit that Republicans pray they can get away with, like locking up a big chunk of the black community across America, and still have the nerve to say that Joe Biden isn't a racist president. Working with segregationists, being anti-busing. Oh, well, I guess he's redeemed for all of that, right? You guys are out of your fucking mind. Either that, you're dumb, or you pay to play dumb. And Bernie Sanders has been conservative. He's center right. He's center right. When it comes to the things that he vote for, he's no better than the rest of them. He's no better than Elizabeth Warren. He's no better than a Kamala Harris. But his rhetoric is different. Just like you guys. You know how to say things nicely, but when it comes to actual change, you won't do a damn thing. You won't do a damn thing. Bernie sent money to Israel. What the fuck? Are you guys serious? So it's cool to be a fucking Zionist now? Whatever, David. He gets it. He gets it. No, he don't. He's an old ass man, out of touch with the real world. He's still a fucking millionaire, been a politician all his life. He don't get a damn thing. He don't get a damn thing. I don't give a fuck how many marches he do with these unions that he helped break up. He will never be in touch with the working class.
Spot on, Rom. Let's listen to more of this clown speak here.
But is he making a point that needs to be made because it's true? And the danger, as he's saying it, the danger to women, the danger to all of these different groups we claim to care about. If Biden doesn't get elected, meaning Trump or DeSantis or Vivek or who knows who gets elected, it's an insane risk to be taking. And then, by the way, the owing back taxes when you say everyone should pay their fair share, the owing child support when you say that we.
So this is what Nick says all the time. Actually, I'm not going to say it that way. Owing back
these niggas racist.
Child support. Yeah, I was going to take it there. You said it. You said it. I was just about to take it there, and I say, you know what? I'm gonna let it go, but I'll let Real Quick
this motherfucker
talk about that part. Go ahead, because what does that mean? Back child support.
It's so funny how these people want to talk about back taxes. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump owed back taxes. Joe Biden owed over $500,000 in back taxes himself, right? and we want to talk about children, let's talk about children and Joe Biden. You want to get on that issue, huh? You want to debate on those issues with Cornel West? I'm pretty sure he's a great father. I don't see none of his kids coming out saying like, hey, fuck my dad, he's a fucking deadbeat. Which was a lie, which was proven to be a lie that he don't owe any fucking child support. You guys are just gonna run with this racist trope because that's what you are, and in all reality. This is why his election isn't serious, because he's a black man running against NATO, running against everything that these men has been standing up for, and been, or not even standing up for, silently letting these people get ran down by and stand by. Ain't no way you're progressive and you align yourself with NATO. It's impossible. It's an oxymoron. Fuck with these people are racist. David Pakman, I always felt like that. I even told him he was a racist a couple years ago. He blocked me. It's like, man, you a fucking racist. I feel like these closet racists, you know, they want Cornel West to stay in this fucking place.
Yeah.
How dare this black man challenge authority over our president and to say that democracy is at stake? Dude, shut the fuck up. This is how you know these people are out of touch with the working class. What democracy when you got stop and frisk still in black neighborhoods? What democracy when you can't even vote certain people out of your fucking governments? They are just there. What democracy do we have? Well, how can I vote to get my people that been wrongly arrested out of prison? How can I get them out? They're stuck there for life because of fascists that you put into fucking power. With a blue D by their fucking name. So fuck David Pakman, racist ass. Him and Joe Biden, racist ass, can go. I can't say it here, but you know what you can do. And take that racist child support bullshit the fuck on. Because if you want to talk about kids and a presidential candidate, you should look at your president right now, how he funnels kids, how he gropes kids, how he sniff kids, how he kiss on his own. Did you read Ashley Diary? All right, then. You want to talk about kids?
Okay, no.
You want to talk about kids? Let's talk about kids then. Motherfucker, shut your ass up. You don't want to take it there.
Yeah, let's see how much I have left. This guy, this guy's terrible. Let me play it and then I'll give my commentary. Let's see if I can get through another minute and a half of this guy.
We must respect women and children. I mean, it's a no for me, dog. I'm out, to quote the Sharks, right? But Bernie's absolutely correct. If you disagree with him, if you disagree with me, I want to hear from you. Make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube channel, approaching 2 million subscribers. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
Rome,
when it comes to taking care of my skin and hair, I never really knew how to have a daily routine.
So this guy is approaching 2 million subscribers, and think about let's bring in Kyle Kalinske. And what was Jessica Burbank saying in that video? This is scary. These people have this influence and they are leading them astray. David Pakman is telling people January 6th shit is real. David Pakman is telling people Russiagate is real. David Pakman is telling people Trump derangement is a normal emotional state. That's who David Pakman is. Nothing but culture warrior and democratic shielding. That's who David Pakman is. And now Bernie Sanders and AOC joins the rank, and Kyle Kalinske and Crystal Ball joins the rank of people like David Pakman and really MSNBC as just permanent Democratic sheepdogs. What's your last word on David Pakman, and then we'll move on to AOC here.
Man, I say these people are dangerous. I'm not gonna shit on their work ethic. I know they have been here for years and whatnot. So the subscriber count might be true, but I don't think most of those people are watching that show. I don't think people give. I think they might ramp back up around election time like they always do, but I don't think people watch this show. He's just boring. He's boring. He's white bread. He's like If he was a superhero, he'd be Superman. He's boring. He get a lot of people killed, and he won't praise for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave my final words on it. So what we're gonna do is move to the next story, and that is AOC. This is 2 back-to-back days where we have articles on AOC. Yesterday we covered the World Socialist website article that was entitled AOC brags about her transformation into a loyal agent of the U.S. imperialism. And today there's a New York Times article, and it's called AOC on how she's changed. So this is her talking about how she's changed herself. Now, we are ad blocked out of that, but there is another version of the article on Business Insider. This is something they do all the time. They take other articles and almost rewrite the article and put it on their website, and that's what they've done. Luckily, because I still haven't figured out how to get around these paywalls. People have sent links. It's too many steps, to be quite frank with you. I'm the type, Nick Rome. I'm the type. If it ain't 2 steps, you might as well just get that to somebody else. I ain't about to do no intricate steps and nothing like that, and bring my fucking anxiety levels up. Like, it needs to be very simple. Like, if it's I go to the website and all I got to do is put the article link in, and then it unblocks it. If it's all this, download this extension to your fucking shit, I ain't doing all of that. I don't want to do all of that. I want something very simple to do. But luckily, Business Insider took that article from the New York Times. They always retitle it, and then they just sort of retell the same article using a few different words. So we're going to use their article to break down what AOC says here, and it just goes along with why we are titling this stream as the Vote Blue No Matter Who crew. We went from David Pakman saying Vote Blue No Matter Who. We had Kyle Kalinske before that saying Vote Blue No Matter Who, and then we had Bernie Sanders saying Vote Blue No Matter Who, and now we have AOC, who's also fallen under that category of Vote Blue No Matter Who. But if you didn't hear, Rome, AOC went on the New York Times and started telling them, basically, RBN, along with our comrades like Jimmy Dore, have been going at the squad and AOC, and it's finally getting to corporate media. And they're like, wow, we didn't have any idea. And so this is why we've been seeing all these stories about what's happening. This is just one of 2 stories I have today that's talking about the infighting within the so-called left. Some of them saying we want to be with the Democratic Party, and then people like us saying fuck that shit, it's over. So let's read this article. AOC says the left is bewildered. We're bewildered, Rome, by power. Like, we see power and we go, what is that, Rome? That's what we do. Because they are not used to having it for years in the U.S. Because we're so not used to having power. When we see it, we just start making bad decisions, Rome, according to AOC. Let's get in here. And here's the bullet points here. AOC says the left is bewildered. The second bullet point, she told the Times that power was generally seen as something held by consummate insiders. In the interview, AOC spoke of how Democratic Party has changed since her first election in 2018. I'll read a little bit here, Rome. AOC, in a newly published interview, said that her political influence had been scrutinized so heavily by Democrats because progressive members of the party haven't had a political presence in the United States like the one they currently possess. During the conversation with the New York Times, the third term New York Democrat said that one of the reasons why voices like hers were seen as novel when she first ran in 2018 was because many candidates were often viewed as more supportive of corporate interests over real people. So that's why she's saying one of the reasons her voices was so large is that she was representing the
She
peaceful.
took the voice of the
basically.
working class. She took the
Right.
voice of the working class and used it against us. Yeah, what they fucking do? A lot of fucking politicians do that. Shit, Nancy Pelosi did the same shit.
That is true, and it seems like that's what AOC is doing. She's following the Nancy Pelosi playbook. That's what it seems like she's doing. But here's a quote. Quote, I think very often you had this consummate insider that was bankrolled by corporate money in advancing this, frankly, very liberal agenda. So, Rome, this is what she's saying here. She's saying, normally when you see somebody who has reached this position in politics, Rome, you see that person as a consummate insider. That's normally, but I've reached this point and I'm not that. That's what she's trying to say. Yes, I have all the traits of those consummate insiders, but that's not me. That's what she's saying. And I'll continue.
The difference between me and these politicians is I can trick the people. I can trick the working class people into giving me money, into giving me grassroots money so I can fund it to CIA agents. No, but she really did do that.
And to that point, I think I'm sorry, I just read that part. I often say, I'm sorry, 1 second. Here it is. So it says, she told the Times. And those were the people that we were used to seeing in power. And then she goes on. And so I think over time, there has been an inherent association between power, ascent, and quote unquote selling out. So she's saying, Rome, people are calling her a sellout, not based on her actually selling out. It's based on her just simply being in this high ranking position, because people typically in this high ranking position are sellouts. That's why people think that, not because of her voting to quash a strike. That's not the reason. That's what she's saying.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. The same people who put her in a position of power is calling her a sellout for being in that position of power that we wanted her to be in. Does that make that's what I'm getting?
That's it.
No, we calling you a sellout because you cried. You cried when it was time to stand up and say no money to Israel. You wore a defund ICE hat, talking to your young viewers, then go and fund ICE more than Donald Trump ever has. Shit, you're the reason why we have a Space Force. You cry and you give up when it's time to be strong. So the same people that put you in a position of power, we see that and we're like, yeah, that's some bullshit. You a fucking sellout. We didn't put you there to cry at Nancy Pelosi's feet. We put you there to make her bow to ours. But what did we get? I tried. I don't know. I tried. All we get is tears. We don't ever get anything other than that. The kids at the borders. Oh, now it's what? A detention center, whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah,
ain't no
now. There's a detention center.
Fucking psychopaths, man. Ain't nobody calling you a sellout because you in a position of power. No, we calling you a sellout because you sold the fuck out. You used our money that we gave to you, and you gave it to CIA agents. If that isn't a sellout, what the fuck is it?
Rome, look at this quote here, man. She says, quote, I often say to my grassroots companions that the left for a very long time was not used to having power in the United States. And so when we encounter power, we're so bewildered. What power do you have, AOC? Just having a position on a committee doesn't give you power. What would have given you more power than this position on the committee if you forced a vote like the Freedom Caucus did? And look how many things they got. But this is the professional managerial class, Rome. They never learn. All they do is go, "Oh, we made a mistake. Now let's try to fool the workers and the poor even more." All they do is develop a new scheme to fool workers. They never go, "Oh, you know what? My bad." And this is the new scheme: is that we haven't had power in so long. When you see me being at the head of a committee assignment, you think I got this by selling out, and not. That's what you think. That's exactly what happened, AOC. You sold out on the dome. You sold out on the funding of Ukraine. You sold out on voting to break a rail strike. That Rome, she didn't even have to break. If she didn't vote in that, the rail strike would have still been broken without their votes. So
she was
what
showing
is
her loyalty to her party.
about?
And not only that, she gave the police billions of fucking dollars to attack our citizens. Like, what did you get? Where is she getting this from? Like, I don't know. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, once you get so far up your own ass, you just out of touch with the people. Because she's so far up her own ass that she can't even smell her own bullshit. And it's just astounding to me how she can sit here and sell out millions and millions of people, actually get people killed. Yes, AOC have gotten people killed with the bills that she helped pass. And still look at yourself as a good person, or I'm a leftist. The left doesn't have power in America. If the left had power in America, we would have way more unions. Our Social Security wouldn't be attacked as much as it would be. You know, they wouldn't be cut into social programs like libraries and, you know, rec centers and shit like that. If the left actually had power in America, we would be in a better position than we are today. So just because you consider yourself a leftist, you can't consider yourself a leftist or a communist. The people have to do that for you. So when the people say that you are a liberal sellout hack, that is what it is. You are a liberal hack. You sold out our people and you got more killed. And you're going to continue to kill more people. Not only this, she sold out the migrants at her back door. Remember the migrants that was coming to New York? She basically said, well, Kamala Harris, do not come. Oh, yeah. I ain't forget about that. You a fucking sellout because you was just crying at the borders in Texas. You want to play this Democrat-Republican bullshit, but when they at your borders, you redder than Republican. Fuck out of here. Sell out.
All right, oops. Yeah, I'm all right. All right. Oh, let's get back to this article. So back to the article. When asked if liberals were suspicious of power, AOC said that many people often feel as though there's no way in the country you can accrue any kind of power without there being some compromise, sellout. That's what this phrasing is for. And it's not that. You see how they talk around, and this is a point I've already made. They're talking around the actual critique. It's like, you are a sellout because of blah, 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 blah. All they do is go, oh, you're calling me a sellout. I'm not going to address the reasons. I'm just going to say, you calling me a sellout, and this is why you're calling me a sellout, without even like addressing the points of why we're calling you a sellout, just making up a reason why we're calling you that. It's similar to what they do about Joe Biden. We have all these critiques about Joe Biden, but what do they say about him? Oh, we don't like him because of his age. They don't say anything about none of the critiques we have of him. And let me continue. In 2018, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez ran as a progressive who would challenge the status quo and advance the interests of the working class communities that she represents in the Bronx and Queens. She immediately faced criticism during her campaign and after she entered the halls of Congress the next year, with some members of her own party disdainful of her and Republicans eager to tie her more progressive views to the entire Democratic Party. This is what she says about that. Quote, when I came in, I came into an environment that I sensed was never going to give me a chance, and into a party that was extremely hostile to my presence, extremely hostile to my existence. She told the Times. That's one of the reasons I dug so powerfully into my work.
Yeah, you had to sell out to get the pats on the back.
I almost don't want to read this, but since there's only 2 paragraphs left, like I'm so tired of these people. But anyway, let me read these 2. The congresswoman who backed the 2020 progressive campaign of independent Bernie Sanders of Vermont has worked with President Joe Biden's White House to advance for a range of social spending measures. And she has worked with Republican Matt Gaetz of Florida, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, in seeking to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. And this is why we have to have RBN. Like, I read this article, but this article is wholly missing a lot of the points and the critiques of this AOC. They're missing a lot of the points in that New York Times article. Because when we got it unblocked, I was able to look at a little bit of the questioning, and I wanted to dive into that today, but got blocked again on the unblocked shit. I tried to link it, Rome, and it's still showing to be unblocked. But this is what I have to say, and I'll close it here on AOC. I'm so happy all this shit is happening, Rome. It feels like this is a perfect storm. We got the Green Party finally having a candidate that people can actually get on board with. You got the pandemic that is just happening. You got evictions sort of going up, so you see more pain happening. You got the homeless population going up. Then you have people that we're supposed to look to as, okay, help us in this time of need, that's selling us out. You got Bernie Sanders, AOC, the squad. And then you have the Bernie Sanders industrial complex, media complex, like Crystal Ball, like Kyle Kalinske, all now selling us out. This is why it's so important for RBN to be here and Mediaite calling us the most left on that entire spectrum. We were the most far left. No one else further left than us.
You're not going to get further left than us when it comes to media, because we're not paid to say this shit. We just some niggas from giving our comment, you know what I'm saying, giving our commentary. And it's so funny how she said, well, you know, we have to what she said, give up basically her compromise. What power did she get for her compromise?
Yeah.
I mean, you compromised to Nancy Pelosi, you compromised about the Iron Dome, which you didn't have to vote for neither. You compromised for the strikes. You know, what power do you have? She talking like she just She-Hulk running around the fucking halls. What the hell? You okay? Since y'all have that so much power, right? Y'all have so much power. Deliver at least on one thing. We're not even asking for Medicare for all. Fuck the Green New Deal. Deliver on something. Don't deliver us excuses. Give us answers. Give us something that we can hold. Give us, you know what I'm saying, tackle inflation at least, but you won't, and you can't. And this is why the party welcome you now, because they know that you basically took the Nancy Pelosi route. Trick the people into liking you, steal their money, use it against them. That's the most diabolical shit that you can do. That's some of the most evilest shit that you can do, is take the last $10 from a poor person and use it to kill them. You are evil and you are a sellout. Now, there are ways you can go into power and not be a fucking sellout. I mean, like, not selling the fuck out. Saying no. You know what I'm saying? Standing up to the powers that be. And yes, they might threaten your life, but aren't you a fighter? As a fighter, you got to know that win, lose, draw, or even death may occur, right? Whether that be a street brawl, bar fight, whatever it may be. You putting yourself in harm's way when you're going against the powers that be, correct? So if you're gonna go all in, go all in. Ain't no, oh well, okay, well, I'm gonna compromise my power. I'm gonna give them money to Israel. I'm gonna give money to ICE. I'm gonna fund the police billions and more dollars, and then they're gonna play they're gonna play how I want to play. Man, get the fuck out of here. You're gonna keep playing the way that they want you to play. These people are psychopaths, and they will use your last dollar to kill you with it. Best believe it.
Spot on, Rome. And now let's move. We're just flying through these articles. Let's move to the next article after I read this. Here, welcome a new member, Comrade Kitty. New member just joined. And here's another. I'll read all these super chats real quick. Here's a super chat here. Cornell should reveal in bringing down the Dem party. I think that's Reveal. And thank you, Lloyd, for that super chat. Here's another super chat. This one's about Pakman. Pakman is why the term left is meaningless.
Facts.
That's spot on.
Because he's a right winger. He's a right winger all day. I done seen this motherfucker agree to wars and all kind of bullshit. So yeah, he's a right winger all the way.
Thank you, Justin, for that super chat. Here's another one from Aisha Lynn. It's a sign of a master manipulator to role reverse and project. When they call you gatekeepers, they are flipping the narrative against you. They are the gatekeepers. So when David said that he's the gatekeeper, he's coming in saying you guys are pure. You're too pure. And it's funny how people call out people who are pure as some sort of test, some sort of threshold, but you're doing the same thing by calling me out and saying that. That's literally
and what do that mean,
you're doing
bro?
the same thing.
Go
ahead.
We by purists, we mean we want somebody who's not gonna fund war. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's not gonna cut into Social Security, somebody who's, you know what I'm saying, gonna deliver on some promises. What do purists mean? Somebody who's not funding Israel, somebody who's not funding the police, somebody who don't want to fucking starve out my community and its people. That's what we mean by purists. By just having a regular person in power, not some fucking psychopath that wants to end people's lives and make it harder on the next man. Is that what a purist mean? Because if that's what it means, I guess I'm the purest motherfucker alive, because I damn sure ain't about to put my principles aside for some psychopath to get power. The fuck out of here, David.
Yeah, David. And I'll read this last super chat here. Thank you for all the super chats, everybody. This one from Hobbs45. It says, Harry Truman was the best Democrat, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and member, and I think that should be of, not if, of the KKK in good standing. Biden, nothing new. So he's basically, this person is saying Biden is nothing new. Harry Truman was very similar. He was a Democrat. He dropped the bomb. That's the Hiroshima. He had Nagasaki. He was a member of the KKK. So Biden and his racist shit, this is nothing new for a president. I mean, yeah. So thank you for the super chat right there. And I got one more story to get to here. And it is right here. So again, it goes along with the same thing. The Vote Blue No Matter crew. No, Vote Blue No Matter Who crew. Here's another article that talks about the divide, Rome. We were just talking about how there's a certain part of the left that is like, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this shit no more. And I've been saying the last year, like, this shit feels different. It feels like the people who are saying Dem exit is more, and they seem to be more determined to stick to it. That's what it feels like to me. And this article kind of talks about the infighting, how some people are like, fuck the Democrats now. So there's panic, Rome. RBN has been here for 2 years, and the influence we've had, there's been a lot of other people, I'm just saying, we've had some influence here. And I believe that influence is those people, that fashion of people who are saying, fuck the Democrats. We ain't doing no. We ain't doing this shit no more. The people who didn't go back and say, why you think Nina Turner lost? Nina Turner, besides AOC and Bernie Sanders, is one of the most popular progressives, beloved nationwide. She can't win a fucking little ass race in her own city, nigga. Why? Because people ain't buying this shit no more. We're like, man, y'all motherfuckers told us that shit before. You get right there and then start going to galas and taking pictures on GQ with Nancy Pelosi. We ain't falling
like
for
Charlie
this.
Brown.
Yes. So let's read this. This is the article. This is from NBC News. The far left wages an internal fight. Help Democrats or reject the establishment. And we are part of the people who are saying reject the establishment. And so let's read. Oh shit, this shit is real small. I'm gonna have to blow this shit up, nigga. Nigga need glasses and everything. I think I might get contacts though. All right, so this one was written. This actually came out today. So this is a brand spanking new article here. And to me, this proves like Dem exit is growing. A progressive organizer backed by Bernie Sanders and AOC has a good shot at winning a congressional special election in Rhode Island on Tuesday. And some on the left are not happy about it. The local chapter of DSA issued an unusual anti-endorsement of the former Rep. Aaron, that's the name of the guy, Rep. Aaron, urging supporters to, quote, reject progressives at the polls, saying Thursday it was disappointed in AOC and Bernie, but not surprised after the New York Congresswoman endorsed, and that's the name of this guy, Rep. Aaron Regunberg of the Vermont senator held a rally for him. And let's get into more of the article here. The Rhode Island chapter of DSA is unusually aggressive. But the local split reflects a larger divide amongst Democratic Socialists and other far-left groups as they debate their forced marriage with the Democratic Party several years after a surge in membership spurred by Sanders' presidential campaign made socialism politically relevant in America for the first time. So, to sum it up, what's happening in Rhode Island, there's a person who's running and AOC and or Bernie Sanders is backing him, but not all of DSA in Rhode Island is backing him. There's part of the DSA in Rhode Island is saying, fuck this shit. We need to break from the Democratic Party. And they issued an anti-endorsement, meaning not only stand out of it, they're saying, no, don't support this motherfucker because he's part of the Democratic Party. And it's illustrating a bigger problem. Go ahead, Rome. You were going to chime in. Go ahead.
No. I don't believe in infighting. I believe that this is something that people who want to infiltrate our spaces, this is a theory that they made up. So it looked like there's fighting going on, or there's disagreements going on. But no, the left is in agreement altogether. It seems like, a lot of people are going third party. A lot of people aren't voting at all. A lot of people are focused on mutual aid and whatnot. So the left, there is no leftist infighting. The left is telling the right wing, the wannabe leftist, the leftists in name only, we are telling these people, hey, we're not supporting these people. Oh, you're not a leftist. You're not a leftist. You're not a leftist. Like, no, I'm a leftist. I help a lot of people. I still push, my propaganda is as much as the next person. But I don't believe that this is the route that we should be taking. And the people who want to, that want to infiltrate our spaces know that we're only going to go farther left from here. And they can't sit here and call themselves communists, comrade, and stuff like that, because then it's going to be a little bit harder to infiltrate these spaces or to even, want to consider yourself a communist. We know these people are right-wing in the heart because they say nothing when it comes to, these wars and these strikes being broken up, or Amazon having so much power over our government and the airlines and whatnot. I believe the left I believe the left is good. It's just these people who have influence and have enough power to get these articles wrote. They are the ones who trying to make it look like we are at a disagreement. No, we are not at a disagreement. The left said fuck Joe Biden, fuck Donald Trump. They're voting for Cornel West. They're not voting at all. They're going to feed their community. They want to build their own parties. The left is doing what the left is doing, you know. But when it comes to people who call themselves leftists, they're not leftists in practice. They're not communists in practice. They're just there. They're just like literally they are just there.
Pause a little bit, Rome. Can't hear anything if you're talking. All right, I think you're back. There you go. All right. So let's continue with the article. Here's where it gets a little bit good here. There's these two quotes, and then it starts to get into the good part. So let me read the two quotes, and then we get to the good part. Quote, DSA was reborn after the first Bernie campaign, and the state of socialist politics can feel stuck or even declining, considering we are thinking about a socialist becoming president of the United States, said Michael, a DSA member and editor. He's a DSA member, Rome, and editor of socialist magazine Jacobin. How dare you call Jacobin a socialist magazine? How dare you? And he also wrote a co-book. He also co-wrote a book, Rome, called Bigger Than Bernie: How Can We Win Democratic Socialism in Our Time? And here's another quote. It's tempting, especially in a movement of downturn, to say the reason why we're not as successful as we should is that we're not adhering to a political doctrine as strongly as we should be. There's both a need to criticize left elected officials if and when they stray from basic leftist principle, while also having some kind of understanding that we have just a toehold on power and that it could all go away. So they're basically trying to say we're at a dilemma. The left is at a dilemma, Rome. Do we want to relinquish the little power we have within the Democratic Party? Or do we want to go along? Go ahead.
What the fuck is they talking about, though? I hate these people. What power, what little power do we have? I'm telling you, man, because if we had even just a little power that they claim that we have, the people would not be going through this shit right now. Inflation would not be hitting us so hard if we had actual left politicians. They wouldn't agree with these corporations. They would actually, take the rally to the front doors, the way Bernie Sanders said, right? Because I remember him saying something about going to these if he was the president, and certain politicians don't want to go with Medicare for all or whatnot. He'd bring the rally to the front door. Blah blah. Have we seen that?
Nope.
Have we seen any of that? None of that. These people are talking out of their fucking ass. And what they are afraid of losing is not the little power that the leftists have in the Democratic Party. They are afraid of losing the footing that they have right now, the money that they have right now, the influence and the access to these politicians that they have right now. Because once things start slowing up and people start waking up, and there's no more articles and books that you can write to convince us that you are too dumb for your own good. They're gonna drop you. You're no use, and they're gonna pick up somebody else who can influence the people, just like they got the little white boy and two little white boys.
Yeah, the Harry Sisson. Yeah, that's spot on, Rome. All right, so let's read a little more. Some on the left, Rome, worry infighting in the name of purity like that in Rhode Island could lead to a vicious cycle and help return the left to the wilderness of the pre-Sanders era. So understand this. This author of this is on the side of saying stick with the Democratic Party. Because this is ridiculous. This is the argument they're making. Some of the left are worried that the infighting in the name of purity. Now, this is what Nick always say. There's nobody who's a real leftist who uses words like purity test.
Thanks.
If you use a word like purity test, you are literally giving a red flag that you're not a leftist, because purity test, people use purity test. What they mean is you're standing on your principle. I'm not voting for somebody who supports slavery, for example. That would be considered a purity test back in 1830, Rome. If you said, no, I'm never going to support somebody who supports slavery, David Pakman and Kyle Kalinske would be telling those people, you're just a purist. You're a pure. You have these purity
You're
tests.
not going to get a perfect politician. You're not going to always get your way. Well, bullshit.
Right.
You know what? We don't even get, fuck getting it our way. We don't even get half the way. We don't get a third of the way. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are psychopaths. I'm telling you. And you know, if we can't get a perfect politician, then we shouldn't vote for them. I'm sorry. Because there are people out here that can do better than these politicians. There are people out here that's ready to take these positions of power and do better with it. And if those people aren't running, you know, or running under a party that we can trust, like independent or a third party, the Green Party, then fuck them. Because you can say what the fuck you want. You can say, I believe in a free world and open borders and all this, whatever the fuck, all you fucking communists and leftists like.
Pause a little bit. We'll give Rome a couple minutes and see if he comes back.
What you gonna do now? What you gonna do now?
Pause again, Rome. Let's give it a second and see if it comes back in a second here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, there he goes.
That might
there
be
he goes.
me.
Now you back.
But yeah, these fuck that. I'd rather be a purist than a fucking sellout, than to be weak and to give up on everything that I believe in. Because I'd be damned if I sit here, like you said, I'm not going to vote for somebody who supports slavery. That's Joe Biden, literally. The man who have, you know what I'm saying, put the black community in the conditions that they are in today with the police force and the prison industrial complex. That is modern day slavery. So no, I don't support people who support slaves or slaveries. Like, yeah.
All right, so let's read on a little bit here. I mean, this is the other point I wanted to make about this sentence. What do they mean if we decide to leave the Democratic Party? They're saying we're going to be returned to the wilderness of pre-Sanders. What are you talking about? We're in the wilderness now. We're in the wilderness now. We're at the child's table now. We're not being taken seriously now. So what are you talking about? This is such a non-thing. This is such a, you can only say that if you're a Democratic shield.
They talking about for them. They ain't talking about for us. They damn sure ain't talking about for us, bro, because we don't get a damn thing but the shitty end of the stick, if that. If that. They are talking about them damn selves, because if we break away from if Democrats broke away from the Democratic Party and went to a third party, we would have more power. We would be in control of these parties. Like, we can actually go run. You know, you can actually go run in the Democratic Party. They got open primaries and all that, right? You know, not like the Democrats. Like, I can actually run to be a Green Party candidate, and we can have people that's like-minded and power. If we can actually get them woke the fuck up and realize how much power they actually wield and held, and go rogue with the shit, because what have we gotten? Even as a black community, what have we gotten voting for Democrats? 50-something fucking years. We got pushback, put in jail. That's it. We are, our people are stuck in the 70s when it comes to education, when it comes to, you know, housing. We are pushed the fuck back. And Democrats have been in control of our cities for years.
Years.
Centuries. Motherfucker, like, where are we getting with this? If we broke off we would have more power and we would do more with it, because you realize, like when I got in a position to help people, I realized it don't take $1 million fucking dollars to feed a handful of people. I just raised a couple of $1,000s, go to a fucking state, pick a fucking city out, and feed the fucking people. It's that easy. But no, we need to raise $2 million to go and do this and do that. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's all a fucking lie.
Spot on. And let's continue. Quote, a lot of chapters would not endorse Aaron because he's not running as a socialist. So they're saying a lot of these DSA chapters would not endorse him because he's not running as a socialist, and that's fine. But to issue an anti-endorsement of the most progressive candidate in the race, that's bizarre. This is a quote from the Rhode Island activist who is anonymous. You see that? You see how they got an anonymous person to have this so-called quote? Get the fuck out of here.
That was
Nobody
him. He wrote this
believes
shit.
Yeah, I know. Get the fuck out of here. The tensions are familiar to any student of radical movements in history. And ideological movement often stagnates when their allied party wins the White House and the unifying effort of a common enemy is replaced by the inherent messiness of governing.
I mean, what can I ask you something, man? Because I know you good with breaking down these talking points that they be throwing at us. What the fuck is the most progressive? Because a motherfucker can say, I believe in Medicare for all, but then he fund Israel. You can say, women body rights is their rights. Women, you know what I'm saying? Roe v. Wade and all that shit, and then give money to the police. It's not hard to be the most progressive when the motherfucker next to you is it's cartoonishly evil. All you gotta do is be less evil, a little less evil. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that and that, but I agree with everything else though. And I'm gonna highlight the fuck out of what I don't agree with, even though when it comes to the backbone of it, we agree with keeping y'all motherfuckers down. We agree with funding the police. So what the fuck do they mean? Most progressive. You don't even have the balls to call yourself a socialist, but you the most progressive? It can't be. It gotta be somebody out there in Rhode Island that's way more progressive, that's not getting the acknowledgement that they should.
Right on, Rome. And let's read this part here. Justice Democrats, the insurgent group that recruited progressives like AOC, slashed its staff this year after a mixed record in Democratic congressional primaries. While prominent leftists have used words like crisis and purgatory as they debate their future, the problem facing far-left groups have led some to focus more on organizing among labor unions and tenants rather than inside electoral politics. Isn't that what we advocate? Isn't that what we want to do?
Oh, people want direct answers. They want direct, help. Oh, damn. We figured that we didn't have to go around the Democratic Party for progress. Oh, God. Wow. Man, shut the fuck up. Who wrote this article?
It's not anybody I know. Let me see the name of the author. I read the author, but I don't recognize
I'm about to go internet bully this motherfucker.
Alex Seeswald, I guess. Nobody this memorable anyway.
Go bully that person. Go bully them. Go bully them on Twitter. Everybody that's watching this, go bully them. How are these motherfuckers, bro? What do they mean? They just be talking in circles, man, and nobody has power but these people. Nobody has influence but these people. Nobody has access to these politicians but these people, because you know what would happen if we had access to these politicians? They would be, the fuck? People losing livelihoods. They losing their families. Suicide rate is going up. And these people are to blame. If we actually had access to these politicians, they wouldn't be a politician anymore. So shut the fuck up with this bullshit.
Spot on. Let's continue with this article. And for those that want to look up this article, I put the link in the description box. It's there now. So if you want to go there and check it out, You can. The far left wages an internal fight. Let's continue with the article. The National DSA has criticized and even threatened to expel its own members elected to Congress for apostasy. I don't know what that is. On issues like, I'm gonna look it up though. I'm sure it's a word I know. On issues like support for Israel and a 2022 vote to end the rail strike. Let me look this up here. It might be a pivotal word that I know that I haven't seen in a while. Rome. Apostasy, and it means the abandonment of a religion or political belief. So abandoning your political beliefs is what that word means. So let's read it again. The National DSA has criticized even threatened to expel its own members elected to Congress for walking away or not abiding by the issues that progressive support. I will say it that way because I want people to understand what that word means, like the support for Israel and the rail strike. In July, Rep. Mike Connolly left his Massachusetts DSA chapter after he was threatened with expulsion for, among other things, endorsing Democratic Governor Maura Healey re-election and appearing at an event with the Prince and Princess of Wales. And it sounds like Rome, that this article is talking about. They're talking about the people who's pushing it back against the DSA that wants to. So there's a faction of DSA that wants to stay in the Democratic Party, and there's a faction that doesn't. They're talking about the people who don't want to stay within the Democratic Party as they're the crazy ones. You're the crazy ones. If you don't stay here at the kids' table inside the Democratic Party, you're just gonna have no table and nobody's gonna care. You're gonna be in the wilderness. Wilderness doing what? Wilderness doing what? Feeding the homeless, clothing them, Rome?
And they already said what we
right?
was doing. They already said it. We are in the wilderness, but other people have, went to union laborers and helping people with helping tenants. They already said what we're doing. We're not in the wilderness. We're on the fucking ground. We're back where we started, because when we thought we could get a leg up in the Democratic Party, that wasn't the case at all. And it still isn't the case. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with the DSA members. Stand on your principles, because DSA, they have been weak. They are weak. They are a weak group. And they do need to, how can I say this? They need to have a coup de garde ran in their organization. It needs to be a change on overhead and all that. And somebody really need to push socialism before anything as the head of their group. And why? And stop being anti-communist. Like, that shit is dumb. You use socialist, but you're anti-communist. So socialism is the door to communism. But whatever.
Yeah, that don't make any sense. That don't make any sense.
Yeah. That's how you know. That's how you know they are opposition. They are paid opposition, because who the fuck will even say some shit like that? But yeah.
Yeah, and this is the last thing before we get out of here, Rome. And I mean, if you got to go, you can go. Do you? But if you wanted to stay, this right here is a little bit a small, short section on Cornel West, because Glenn Greenwald went on the Megyn Kelly show. And if people don't know who Megyn Kelly is, she's the woman that used to be on Fox News, but she got kicked off and sexual harassment and all kind of stuff. And then she got her own show on MSNBC, but because she was conservative, that didn't do well. It was a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, Glenn Greenwald went on her show to talk about the incident with Bernie Sanders and Cornel West. So let's listen a little bit to what she says here.
Elsewhere in the Democratic field, things are getting interesting. There's like a little smoke coming up in the ranks in the Dems. And I'm not speaking about RFKJ or Marianne Williamson. Bernie Sanders and Cornel West. What do you make of, well, get the audience up to speed on what they've been doing and why they've become a little bit more interesting as we look forward to 2024, even though we're assured Biden's running for a second term.
Well, so first of all, Cornel West is just one of the more interesting people in our cultural life. He's incredibly well-spoken. He's a learned person. He's been in academic institutions. I think he's extremely smart. I've talked to him a lot. I really believe that. He's been very widely respected his whole life. He wrote a book called Race Matters in the 1990s that's considered by a lot of people one of the most profound intellectual works on race. And aside from that, he was a very close friend of Bernie Sanders. He was a vigorous supporter of the Sanders campaign, both in 2016 and 2020 when Bernie ran for president. Cornel West has always been a left-wing critic of the Democratic Party. He's never liked the Democratic Party, but he's kind of maintained like one foot inside of it, the way Bernie used to pretend to do. Now Cornel West thinks both parties are equally terrible, that he can't support either, and he's running as a third-party candidate with the Green Party, the way Jill Stein did in 2016. And one major problem for the Democrats is that he is a very respected Black intellectual, very popular among a lot of Black voters on whom Democrats rely in every election to win. But he's also somebody I think people are going to start to see who has this ability to speak to working class people in a way that makes them feel like they're not hearing stale left-wing dogma. He's exciting, he's charismatic, he's funny, he's very human, he produces music, he sings, he'll break into song in the middle of interviews like he did when I had him on my show. And I think he poses a huge threat to the Democratic Party because even if you take 2 or 3% from Joe Biden, that obviously can make a difference in the way our elections are run. And the amazing thing is, Megan, that Bernie Sanders his entire life has prided himself on his independence from the Democratic Party. Literally, he's never been a member of the Democratic Party. Even now, he's an independent senator. He doesn't belong to either party technically, even though he caucuses with the Democrats. So for them to send out, of all people, Bernie Sanders to attack Cornel West, and for Bernie to be willing to do it, to attack his good friend, someone who supported him for many years, shows that there is no more internal dissent within the Democratic Party. I was in Milwaukee. Everybody who watched that debate saw the incredibly intense ideological and political conflicts the Republican Party has internally, which I think is very healthy. Democrats are in total lockstep, including the parts of the party that pretended for a long time to be defiant and rebellious. Bernie's catchphrase in 2016 was "our revolution." The revolutionary, the radical revolutionary, is now Joe Biden's chief party enforcer to the point of.
How do you like that? How do you like that? That'd be like Fred Hampton now backing Richard Nixon. That's what that would be like. So that's what Bernie Sanders is doing. So it begs the question: Were we fooled? Were we fooled to think that this guy was ever a revolutionary? Were we fooled? And my answer to that is yes, we were fooled. Now, don't get me wrong. Bernie Sanders, even if I'm going to give him his flowers, he has been the best I would say 20 years ago, he was the best politician in office 20 years ago, before he started really riding the coattails of the Democratic Party. When they used to keep him out in the cold, in the wilderness, they used to do that to Bernie Sanders when he wasn't falling in line. Then he said, you know what? I'm tired of being the outcast. I'm tired. So little by little, he inched over. And now this motherfucker cannot. Is he any different than Nancy Pelosi? At this point, he's no different than Nancy Pelosi, Rome. And let's listen to. We're about a third way through. Let's listen to another 2 minutes. We may not listen to all of it. Just depends on what they say in our reaction here.
To exploit his old fake persona to attack Cornel West. And I don't know. I think that's going to alienate a lot of people more than it's going to persuade them.
So interesting to hear you explain that. Okay, so here's a bit of Cornel West going on Charlemagne's show, The Breakfast Club, on August 7th, talking about Bernie Sanders. Take a listen here. Side 8.
I love the brother, and you know, you even in love, people have deep disagreements about these things. But I think again, he's fearful of the neo-fascism of Trump. People look at Biden, they don't really want to tell the full truth. He's created the best economy that we can get. Is this the best that we can get? You're gonna tell that lie to the people?
Do you think
We
Do you think, would you tell a lie to the working class in poor Rome in order to get some milquetoast neoliberal warmonger elected? Would you do that, Rome?
Hell no way. No.
Just no shame.
And to blatantly lie to the people when they can feel the effects of the economy, when they can feel the effects of the inflation, when they are feel the when the eviction notices is hitting their doors. The blatant lie to the people is just that's some evil shit. That's evil.
Pretty evil. All right, so let's let Megan continue here.
Just for Biden to win?
Okay, and then, as you point out comes Bernie Sanders with a response directed at Cornel West, Sot 9.
Where I disagree with my good friend, Cornel West, is I think in these really very difficult times where there is a real question whether democracy is going to remain in the United States of America, I think we have got to bring the entire progressive community to defeat Trump or whoever the Republican nominee will be.
Okay, and then one more for you. Cornel West went on Rising with The Hill, and had an interesting POV that we should play. Take a listen, Sot 10.
Brother Bernie's making a plausible argument, but I think deep down in his heart, he knows that the Democratic Party has no fundamental intention of speaking to the needs of poor people and working people. He and AOC and the others are going to be, in a certain sense, window dressing at worst, and at best, people to appeal to every 4 years.
So, Glenn, Cornel West is not persuaded by the Bernie message of we've got to get the entire Democratic Party unified and on board to defeat the fascist Trump.
You know, I have to say, Megan, like Bernie Sanders, it's sad to watch because he is a politician for whom I had personal respect. I think a lot of people, even people who don't like his ideology in Washington, will say whatever you want to say about Bernie. He has integrity in the sense that he's always true to his principles. What he's doing now is so despicable because in 2016, this is exactly the argument that was made against Bernie Sanders was, look, we have this Hitler-like menace in Donald Trump. This is not a time to have infighting within the Democratic Party. You're threatening American democracy by running against Hillary Clinton and damaging her. And to this day, a lot of them blame Bernie Sanders for sabotaging Hillary Clinton in the general election. And beyond that, Megan, people don't want to face the fact in the Democratic Party that it isn't people like me saying this. It's people like Elizabeth Warren and Donna Brazile, the former chairwoman of the DNC, who said that in 2016, the Democrats cheated. They rigged the election in order to ensure that Bernie lost and that Hillary won and that she would win no matter what. And so to watch Bernie now turn around to the same party that refuses to hold any presidential debates to declare Joe Biden the winner, even though he has two primary challengers before a single vote is cast, that cheated and rigged the election when he ran, and to pretend now that the Democrats are the only guardians of democracy without...
You know what just came to mind? That'd be like your wife or girlfriend cheating on you, and then you starting to praise the nigga she cheated with. That's what basically Bernie Sanders is. He got cheated on by the Democratic Party. Yeah, cuck. That's exactly what it is. And now he's over here with the person that the Democratic Party cheated with, out here trying to take him to dinner. That's basically wrong. So your girl cheat, and then you call up the nigga she cheated with and say, would you like to go to dinner today? That's basically it.
But I do like that he called out that Joe Biden do have other challengers that they are just ignored. I mean, I know they're not having any debates or no primary, but he still do have other challengers within his own party, right? So this is how you know Dr. Cornel West is a threat. Not a threat to democracy, but a threat to the Democratic Party. And not only will he be he can pull votes from the independents and non-voters, he will be pulling votes from the Democratic Party. Because if they wasn't coming, if they're not coming after Marianne Williamson and RFK, as much as they're coming at the Cornel West, then it's actually saying something. And then one thing that they don't want is the people to get a leg up, is the people to get a whiff of power. Because then we're going to see how neglectful Bernie Sanders actually was in the 50-something years he's been in been in power. We're going to see, that we could have been got these things done. And all this shit was just rhetoric to these people.
All right, I think this is the final question she asked him. I did fast forward a little bit so we can end this segment.
Do
real
what
quick.
Democrats tell them to do. And that is not something that most people want to accept.
Yes, so this is from early August. The Trump campaign highlighted an Emerson College poll out of Michigan showing Trump and Biden tied, each with 44%. And when Cornel West was added as a choice, Joe Biden lost the state of Michigan to Trump. 43% for Trump, 41% for Biden. West got 4% of the vote. They can't have it. They cannot have it. He doesn't have it to spare. He did not win in any sort of a landslide last time around, meaning Joe Biden. He needs every single vote. And Cornel West could be a very interesting spoiler. So where did you learn about money?
I don't like how she still labels it as a spoiler. I still don't go with that sort of terminology for what's happening, but it is what it is. Let me let this other question be answered by Glenn, and then we can end here.
Be a democracy, and not only that, but to do so by attacking Cornel West, someone who's supposed to be his friend, in such harsh terms, I think is really grotesque. And look, you saw Cornel West in that clip. I mean, it's not hard to understand why Democrats. The last poll showed 20% of Black Americans are saying they're going to vote for Donald Trump. Maybe that was an outlier, but no question, Trump has attracted more and more non-white voters the more he stayed in public life. And if you have someone like Cornel West going and saying that stuff that he just said, Democrats don't care about the working class, they don't care about the poor, that is not something that Democrats want. And I don't think they believe they can persuade Cornel West to stop. And so they've launched this repulsive campaign trying to depict him as a deadbeat dad, as a tax cheat. Like, what's next? Drug dealer?
Oh, yeah.
It really shows just how craven these people are.
The Daily.
That was the last question. Spot on. Thanks, Glenn Greenwald, for that short interview, because I would not have known anything about Megyn Kelly. She is kind of conservative. If it wasn't for Glenn Greenwald going on that show, but all of these topics, Rome, is speaking to the part I said earlier when you first got here, and that is like, it feels like this is different, Rome. It feels different. It feels like enough people are fed up. Enough people are like us, like, you know what? I've been fooled 4, 5, 6 times with this shit. Fuck this shit. It's nothing. I don't care. Trump wins, he wins, motherfucker. And I'm in that boat. Literally, if Trump wins, what does that do to me? My life is going to be the exact same, if not better, because we can literally, and we're not Trump advocates. We're just going off facts. Measurably, the Trump presidency was slightly better than the Biden presidency. Biden is funding ICE more. Biden military is up more. Biden is pushing us to fight World War III with Russia and China. A homeless population is up. Like everything, police shootings is up. Like everything is up. So this inflation is up. Eggs is up. Price of eggs is up. Price of gas is up. Everything is up. The COVID deaths were up. Everything is worse under a Joe Biden presidency. So they're not going to be able to sell this Trump bad anymore. And you're seeing it with black male support for Donald Trump, Rome. I know you've seen it. This nigga got 20% black. Yeah. I haven't seen that shit in a while. Go ahead, Rome. You're gonna say
like he had 12%. He had 12% last time, and I told people it's gonna do nothing but go up, because I don't know if people know it or not, but Donald Trump freed a lot of people that Joe Biden locked the fuck up. Those people want revenge. Those people hold Joe Biden out of power. I know people that's been locked up for a crack rock and did 10 to 15 years for a couple of sacks of crack that they wasn't planning on selling. They was using. Did hard time for that shit because of the laws that Joe Biden got into office, got into power. Now that they got their voting power back, they like, and this is the thing, like, I'm telling you, the reason why black people don't vote is because of Joe Biden. Now think about the cause and effect the 3 strikes have on our community. Now we see our people getting locked up and whatnot, right? So they never get into politics. And they never tell us about politics. When the last time your OGs told you to go vote? They ain't saying no shit like that because they voting power has been taken away, and it's gonna have a domino effect on the rest of the community. Oh well, I guess voting doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and we're gonna have generations of people not giving a fuck of voting. I have a generation, like, man, there's so many non-voters in my family because of Joe Biden, because of the policies that he put into place and how it affected our community. Now we're like, man, fuck this shit. We ain't got no power over that. What we supposed to do over the 3 strikes? So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great question right here. What the fuck was America? When the fuck was America ever great? That's a good question. Is that the exception? They was killing all the natives. Then they moved. Then they had moved right into slavery. Then to slavery, right into Jim Crow. That's a good question. When was it? When was it, Roman? Was it the 80s? Not with the crack epidemic. I know damn sure it wasn't then. Was it the 50s and 60s?
I'm starting war with Vietnam.
Right. Was it the 30s, 50s, and 60s? The 30s, 40s, and 50s. Those are the times that spurred the civil rights movement. So those couldn't have been good. So when was it good? That's actually a great question. When was this American exception?
This is an empire. There ain't no good in the empire for the people. The only good that's going to happen, only socialist things is going to happen is for the elite, not for you. So under empire, there will never be good times for the proletarian, ever. And look, you can say what you want. Oh, well, we living better than the other countries, yeah, because we stole their shit.
Yeah,
I live good too, man. You know what I mean? Houses I want to run in. I live good too if I can run up in your shit, or if I can just steal all your shit and put it in my house. Oh, that's a nice couch. I might just colonize that fucking couch. Of course we're gonna live better. But overall, man, I feel like these Americans are waking up, and the more they wake up, the more we have to be there before TYT gets. We have to be there. Like I said, RBN is the real fork in the road for leftists. When you driving down this road of progressiveness, you're gonna have to, you're gonna hit that cross in the road, that fork in the road, and you're gonna be like, oh, I thought I was a leftist already. No, this is the left. That was some bullshit over there, nigga. The journey's just beginning. The journey's just beginning. So yeah, we gotta be the real fork in the road, and we gotta continue to wake people up to this nonsense. I don't believe life is gonna get better under Dr. Cornel West's presidency, no, but I do believe that we can, well, not spontaneously, of course. There are certain things that we can tackle, like, marijuana and, inflation, shit like that. But as far as, getting us all out of these wars, disbanding NATO and shit like that, he's going to need more than 2 terms to do some shit like that. So if we can just keep the ball rolling, maybe if he do win, we can have somebody else go and finish what he started. But don't give in, don't give up for these people, because all you're doing is giving up your principles for their bank account. You're giving up your principles for their bank account, because when you compromise and you vote for Joe Biden, what has happened? Your life got worse. You are poor. You have been evicted. You can't afford a $500 emergency, right? Don't compromise for other people's profits, because all these people got rich while we suffer. All these people get richer while we suffer. They get fatter while we die. So every time you give up on a principle, you basically are killing a human. Just think about it like that. Every time you give up on a principle and you give in, somebody in Libya is getting bombed. Every time you give up on your principles and you compromise, IDF is getting funded. Israel's getting funded. The police is getting funded. The prison industrial complex is getting funded. When you compromise, you lose people's lives. You get people killed and hurt. This is not how we're supposed to move. This is not how we're supposed to, treat power. If you got power, hold it and use it for good. Don't compromise your power for a psychopath, because a psychopath is going to do what a psychopath wants to do. You can't just say, well, we gave him a knife, but it was dull. I mean, yeah, he sent on the, he in a crowd of people, but look, they got a little weight on them. They might be able to take a poke. Come on, man.
Yes, and I'm gonna be playing a closeout video in just a second, but I do gotta read the super chats first. So let's read the super chats. Let's start at the bottom. We got 10. It looks like U.S. may have possibly been great before Christopher Columbus discovered it. Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah,
don't tell
Columbus.
The colonizers that they be like, oh no, they was killing each other. They was savages. They was worshiping the sun. They was doing that. They was doing that. Like shit. Hey, I'm pretty sure it was better than fucking enslaving the whole fucking continent. I don't give a damn what these tribes have done amongst themselves. It was their land to do what the fuck they wanted to do on it. So if they was killing each other, then so fucking be it. It was their business. We can't just sit here. And that's the mindset of them colonizers. These people didn't know Jesus Christ until we came over. Nobody needs to know that nigga. We ain't know that nigga then. We know that nigga now. He should have came here. What the hell?
Oh God!
It's crazy. People have a crazy mindset when it comes to stuff like that, especially on natives and Africans and people who are indigenous to their land. Look at all these people who support Israel. They have the same colonist mindset. Of the natives was less than. They weren't as smart as us, which we know that it's the furthest from the truth. We know that the natives had a hold on their land. It was really spiritual. Both of my grandmothers are native to America. My grandfathers were slaves that was brought over here, and that's how I got here. My grandmother was actually a slave in the Mississippi fields, and that's how that's how my family all got together. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man, that people would think somebody is less than because we are different. We're just different. I'm not less than you. You're not less than me. We're just different. We come from different backgrounds and shit like that. But that colonist mindset will get millions of people killed. If not, it's gonna get yourself killed.
Spot on. The next super chat, this one from Cool Blue. Thanks for the super chat. What the actual left has to do, first and foremost, electorally, is to lie the Democrats' general election votes. That's the first thing. Continue in consecutive election cycles, meaning don't vote for them for a consecutive election cycle. Once you do that, you will ignore the sheepdogs. Thank you for that super chat. I'll pop this one up here already. I read it earlier. I'll just pop it up there. And then thank you again for joining us as a member. This is another one. Cornel West should reveal in bringing down the Dem party. Pakman is why the left is meaningless. And then this one, it's a sign of master manipulator to role reverse and project.
We have read this one.
Yeah, when they call you gatekeeper, they are flipping the narrative against you. That's right. I did read most of these. So I do want to shout out our website and shout out the library before we get out of here. I'm going to play this as our last video room. You talking about your it's a snippet of the Death to America, but how you won an award. But the first thing show before
I won. I can't believe we actually won an award on a movie called Death to America. This fucking
that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So for those that didn't know, tell people what is the actual award you won? Like, what's the name of the award? What is it for, basically?
I don't remember. I think it was excellence in film or some shit like that. I really didn't care. I was like, shit, I won. I didn't win the prize. It was like a $500 bonus, some shit like that. But I didn't win the prize, but I won the award. So I'll take what I can get. It was a lot of people who put a lot of money to get the spot that they had and whatnot. And for me to just be, some dude from Detroit. I drove down to Tennessee to, do this and to see that we won. You know what I'm saying? We ain't have no money. I ain't paid. I ain't had sex with none of the judges. But yeah, man, it's beautiful. But but I don't even really care about the award. All this shit. I only got it because of the people, man. Because the people made this shit possible. The people made this shit possible. Because nobody wouldn't give a fuck. I'd just be some kind of yelling in the air if it wasn't for my base. That's what I'm grateful for overall. Fuck the awards. There's plenty more to come. RBN got an award. We all got awards, right? So they're gonna come and go with time and with the work. But I really do appreciate the support that I get overall because I can't do a damn thing without it.
Yeah, and on the screen, scrolling at the bottom, you see our website. This is it on the screen. I haven't shouted it out in a while. Just wanted to shout it out again. Everything from our mission to what we believe in. You can check out here our story about what I want to focus on right now is chapters. So here you can see some of the things we want to do. We officially launched in May. Goals for our chapter, building a community library. Rome is doing that in Detroit. We'll give you an update on that in just a moment. Diaper and baby supply giveaway. I think I'm going to do a diaper run as my next thing at the Long Beach chapter. It'll be a diaper run for the projects out here. School supply giveaway. Nick just did one of those last week. The school supply giveaway. Disability community outreach, feeding the poor and unhoused, housing activism, bill payment assistance, self-defense classes, remote webinars, citizen journalism, tutoring K-8, arts and cultural classes, events, youth basketball training. RBN will be launching local chapters in 2023. So we did. Now, what's unique at the Boston chapter is that they have a mutual aid request. So if you in Boston are a part of this chapter and you needed to request somebody to cut your grass, you needed somebody help tutor a child of mine, this is a mutual aid request you can put in.
I need one of those. What the fuck?
Yeah. If you want, we'll get the web designer to do that for you. So what happens when they fill this out, Rome, and they hit submit? This goes to Sabby. Sabby gets the email. Oh, I need this work. And then Sabby tries to work to see about getting that taken care of. So if you want something like that for the Detroit chapter, we can have the web designer add that for the Detroit chapter too, Rome. And then the email goes directly to you.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. We still haven't gotten the latest pictures, Rome, and video uploaded yet here. We do got some of them, but if you go here, you can see some. Can you believe this is the old picture of the freaking library? It don't look nothing like that. Now it's completely different, but this is what the library used to look like. I don't have a current picture to show. I'll go to your page in a second. But yeah, this is what it used to look like for those that don't know. And I'm gonna go to your page for a second. But talk about what we were just saying we needed to talk about for you.
Oh yeah, for the mutual aid request thing.
The mutual aid request, but something else you were saying. I forget. But anyway, go ahead and say. I remember in a second.
I'm actually working on the garden and the library at the same time. I want to prep the garden for next year. That way, once I open up this library, the garden will be ready at about the same time, and we can have people going back and forth from the library. We can have kids learning how to, grow crops and, probably get some food that they might need for the households and whatnot. So I've been trying to focus on. I've been really trying to focus on both of them. They ain't too far from each other. But yeah, I got the first bed up so far. I got a 3-story bed. I'm gonna be growing carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes in that bed. And I want to focus on, like an onion bed and stuff like that. We're gonna try to at least get the people back and forth from the Detroit chapter to the community garden. And sooner or later, I should be building a damn thrift store for the people.
Is that going to be in Detroit too, or where's that going to be?
It's actually going to be on. It's actually going to be on the same property that the
okay.
That the garage that the garden is on. That way, people can, I'm gonna have like a public shower. People can change their clothes and pick some fruits and get the fuck out my yard.
All right, so let's go to some of the I'm trying to find some of the videos or pictures. Oh, here is the. Is this it right here? Yeah. So this is the community garden. Is this a stock picture or is this actual?
Yeah, that's
picture?
a stock picture. I wish my shit looked like that.
I was about to say, what the hell? I was like, wow, your shit got.
I went live yesterday.
Put up that quickly.
I wish, nigga. I'm like, damn, I'm a bad man. I can do everything.
Yeah, and it looks like you're raising money for this. You're trying to raise how much for that? You want to tell people, Rome, about that? Or did you already say how much you wanted to raise for the? Oh, it says 1,200. My bad. It says 1,200 for the community garden. You're gonna be raising.
Yep.
Go ahead. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. If you were.
No, we was trying to. Oh, that's a job I had did for some slumlord. But we're trying to raise $1,200. So far, I got I think 4 of that, and I spent like 2 something on just a 3-story bed so far. Because lumber costs a lot of fucking money nowadays. I don't know if you guys know, but we're trying to focus on getting this garden up. Because I figured if I can get the garden up before, or if I can prep the garden and then finish out the library, we can kill 2 birds with one stone, and it'd be like it'll be like something real. Like we can do field trips to the fucking from here to there, and it'll just be nice. It'd be nice to have people coming together as a community, not only learning how to do their taxes, learning something new. I got a whole bunch of banned books. I have hundreds of banned books at the damn building. Like I said, I got so many banned books that I can be facing prison time if they raided our ass. But it's gonna be nice to have people come together and actually build something for the community. And not only do we have a garden, we have a full kitchen. It's a kitchen in there, so we're gonna be doing free lunches. We're gonna bring back what the Panthers was doing for the cities back in the days. We're gonna prep a whole bunch of lunches as much as we can, and probably pick out like a field or something that we can go where people can meet up at, and go to certain blocks where people can meet up at and hand out free lunches to the kids.
Right on. All right, I was just going through some of the pictures and graphics here, and then we're gonna end with one of your videos. What is this right here? You're showing. This is one of the books you were sent.
Yeah. I just dropped a video about Death to America. I like to play that one because that one, I like what I said in that one. It was the news video I had dropped, I believe, and I was basically thanking the people. It's that one. It's that one.
Yeah.
I'll set it up, but yeah, this I just want to say thank y'all one more time, and donate to Tour for the Poor. Subscribe to our Substack. Subscribe to our Patreon. This is going to keep us going. The support keep us going, and the money makes us move. So, help us move, I should say. But thank you guys.
Yeah, so make sure you check out RBN, Revolutionary Blackout Network.com. You can check us out online. Or if you need to email us, if you want to send donations, books, or something like that, there's our email. It's scrolling down at the bottom. info@revblacknetwork.com. You can email us. We can always use volunteers at our chapters. We have a chapter in Boston. We have a chapter in Kansas City, Missouri. We have a chapter in Orlando. We got Rome's chapter in Detroit, and then my chapter in Long Beach. So if you want to volunteer at any of our chapters, you can also email us. Join our Substack. Scrolling down. Oh, sorry. Let me scroll it down at the bottom. Join our Substack, scrolling down here at the bottom if you want to get notifications when we go live. This was sort of an unplanned stream, so if you want to get notifications of these, make sure you join that. The other thing is, if you're part of our community, make sure if you're able to contribute, we're raising money to pay our editor, the one who does all of our great graphics. Oops, that's the wrong fundraiser. That's the one, JB. So I can say this: JB hit the target for this fundraiser right here. So thank you for everybody for that. So this is what RBN is doing. So JB is raising funds to build hygiene kits for unhoused in Orlando. Nick just raised something like $600 or $700 to give away school supplies, free school supplies out in KC. Rome is raising money for a community garden and the library. I just did in July. I just did our run at Skid Row. We fed Skid Row. Next month in September, we're going to be down at the project. So we're going to be doing a diaper giveaway. This is what RBN is doing. This is what we think this is our theory of change. Stop donating to the crooked people. Donate to people doing the work. And that's the way forward. If you give Rome $100, you know you're going to get a tangible return. If you send $100 to Democrats, you might as well flush that shit down the toilet. You ain't going to see that shit ever in your life. Ever in your life will you see the results of $100 given to the Democratic Party. That's just what it is. And now I found the graphic. Here's the graphic I wanted to show before I show Rome's video. Here's the fundraiser for our editor. She does all of our graphics. She does all of our video editing. She does so much for us. She sends out the reminders on our Substack. She does so much for us. Help us pay Aaron adequately. Here's the GoFundMe. You see the link there. We're trying to raise $700 for last month to pay her. So I think it's 700 or 775 is the target of this GoFundMe. Please donate. You can $2, $1, $5. If we get 100 of you to donate $5, will be more than 2/3 to the goal. So that's it, Rome. I'm going to play your video. You got anything else you want to say before we close out and play your video here?
That's it. That's it for me.
All right, guys. That's it for Rome and I. We're off. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm about to go smoke a little bit and eat a little bit and relax. So
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Here's Rome. So see you guys.
Before we get into all that fundraising born crap, I wanted to talk about something. Deaf to America won an award. Now, I still don't know what the hell the award is, but who gives a fuck? We did that shit, y'all. We did that shit. And of course, I wanted to thank the viewers, the people who came out to the world premiere, but I wanted to talk to my base on Twitter because you guys made this possible. All of it. From the garden, the libraries, the clinics that we're building, the giveaways, diapers, and backpacks, and all of this is because of you. You show people the true power of the people and what we can do as a collective. You made this shit possible. Thank you. You guys have changed my life. You guys have changed my life. We are literally building a library from funding off Twitter. All of those people say Twitter isn't real life. Well, we show is helping real people off of Twitter. And it's so fucking beautiful. And I just wanted to thank you guys for all the support that you gave me. Now, to the boring part, it's not really boring, but you know, it's getting a little cooler here. So I want to get back out there in the garden. I went live yesterday. If you want to go back, you can watch it. We have built a 3-story bed. Well, so far, I gotta finish it out, but I want to build some more beds today. We don't need much. We don't need no $5,000, $10,000, nothing like that. The goal for the day is just $400 so we can get as much wood as possible. Lumber is sky high for some reason nowadays, and it's so hard to get good wood nowadays. But if you can, donate the tour for the poor. This garden, it should be up and running and ready next year. Next spring, we're gonna get everything prepped. This year and this winter, by next time, next year, we should have crops. It's gonna be so fucking beautiful. And yeah, I love you guys, man. Y'all changed my life for the better. You know, I never thought I would be here, man. I honestly thought I would be sitting in a prison cell somewhere, you know, and I probably deserve to, but we're here. If you can help us out, please donate the tour for the poor. I'm about to get ready to hit the road, get back on 7 Mile, and hopefully we have some donations ready to go. Y'all take care. Have a nice day.